twisted. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the.
Yeah, come on! Yeah, man, come on! Yeah, man, come on! Yeah, man, come on! Yeah, man, come on! Better than that!
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Lightweight, baby. Let's bleed this Saturday morning, man. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Greetings on this 6th installment of Simian Saturday. More monkey business. Let's do this roll call. Sheriff Deputy Mac, my brother, salute. King Breezy, Eric Jordan, Mr. Shelton in the building, Rick Blackwell, Eric H, Shyland, K-Rob, what up? Shaquilla Fields, Sam Seald, salute. Wow, West Australia, by way of East Oakland, salute. Australia is mental. I mean, I saw this video. They got some goddamn spiders down there. Hold on one second, y'all. My bad. That's what they call welcome down Ram. Salute. Shaquilla, salute if I missed you. A huntsman spider. Yeah, those things get in your house. Let me tell you something. If you from like New York and you go down there for the first time and that's in your hotel room, we are packing our bags and getting on the next plane out of there. And they talking about, oh no, they're harmless. No, they don't have to be harmless. When you see a spider that's hairy, that's the size of a lobster, it's time to go. I don't play that. All right. When you're going to work, have a hard day at work, and you come home, and there's a chance you might get your ass kicked by a kangaroo, we don't play those games. No. If you're just trying to have a quiet day at the park, and a koala could fall out the tree and start tuning you up, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm good. We just got stray dogs every now and again. Not as much as they used to be in the 80s out here, but you know, y'all got like dingoes. When you're getting tuned up by a canine with an Australian accent, not only is that pure comedy. Oh, crikey, mate, I'm about to bite you in your ass. No. I can't live down there. No. Do you know, well, I think there's a tribe of black people down there that are like my complexion and darker, but genetically, they have like green eyes and blonde hair. I think they're in Australia. That's amazing. It's amazing. Joe, what up, Joe? Yeah, that's crazy. But that huntsman spider? No, thank you. I saw that on YouTube. I thought it was fake. Oh, you said the surrounding islands. Yeah, I saw that. I like read about that years ago, and then I saw it on the internet. I said, man, that's unique. They call it they refer to it as a genetic flaw. That's like weird. If you took them and just like made them walk around New York, everyone would think that that was just a black person with contacts in their eyes and dyed their hair. No, those are like real people. Solomon Islanders, that's who they are. Yeah. I saw that like online, and I saw it in like a magazine years ago. I said, that's strange. Dark skin with blonde hair, and it's not straight hair either. It's like woolly hair with like green eyes or blue eyes. It's like amazing. I was like, damn, what is that? K-Rod's asking, do I think Lubin versus Ortiz is a duck fight at 54? No, it's just a fight. To me, it's just a fight, not an 86 salute. It's just a fight. It's not a duck fight. It's a fight. You know, I can't wrap my mind around Fundora versus Thurman, but it's happening. It's a fight. Lubin lost to Fundora. Virgil got to do something. So to me, it's not a duck fight. It's just a fight. So I'm just going to let things get together. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be interesting. I would think Ortiz is the favorite, but it's boxing. It's boxing, so I'll allow it. Like they say in court, they go to the judge. Objection. I'll allow it. Yeah. Anyway, on to the topic this morning. I didn't want to wait till Monday, and plus I ain't got nothing to do this morning. So, yeah. Jake Paul, when interviewed, he, K-Rod, everyone, that guy Bakram, he's very dangerous. He's very dangerous. But we're in an era where many people don't hold fighters' feet to the flame. Case in point, Mellow Yellow on the left-hand side of this, on the right-hand side of the screen, running off. So when we enable certain behavior, that gives room for other people to do other things. And when you have fanatics who are fanatics of fighters and don't support the sport, things like that happen. And that's the whole thing. Boxing would be in a better place if people honored the rankings, if the champions fought their mandatories, if the mandatories didn't want their fights right away, it was ridiculous to say, okay, you got a month to make a decision. You up next. Do you want to do it? And if their camp says, okay, I know we're mandatory, but we're not ready. Okay, fine. You step aside. Number one is going to take your spot until you're ready. And if you're not ready after they fight, you're going to drop down to number 3. And everyone's going to know that your camp said you're not ready. Ain't going to be people online fussing, oh, well, my man's ready, but, he got a bigger name, so he going to go get his money. And why you mad at the black man getting his money? No. We're going to tell the truth. Yeah, he's a mandatory, but you know what? He can't beat the champion right now. We don't want that fight right now. Plus, although this guy's a champion, our guy has a bigger following in this city or in this country. So we're going to step aside. So therefore, the number 1 will become the new mandatory. So the mandatory drops to number 1. And whatever happens after the new mandatory and the champion fights, they'll spin the block and go back to you and say, you ready now? What? No? Okay, cool. You can go make your money. No one's hating on you. But we're going to let them know, the sanctioning body is going to let them know, they said they're not ready. So now you're going to drop down to number 2. Number 2 is going to be number 1 or the mandatory, and so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? King Corleone, salute. And what I'm saying is, if boxing operated like that, honestly, because what's been happening is you have people in positions of power by way of fan base, some by way of titles, and they develop this core following where they don't hold their feet to the flames, man. And then we get a mess. And then you get fan base saying, oh, no, my guy's not scared. He's just doing this and he's doing that and he's going over here to get this money and doing this. And no, bull crap. Your man's ducking. In what universe can he go and get this belt, but he don't want to do it? And he's like the A side, a la Tank and Shakur. That's a unification bout right there. And in fact, don't unifications trump mandatories? That's what I was told. So I don't care who was a mandatory for Tank at the WBA. I don't care who was a mandatory for Shakur at the WBO. If they decide, hey, man, we're going to fight, then the two mandatories, they got to wait. And let them work their situation out. Now, if boxing was, and to me, that's very simple. If boxing was operating under those conditions, then Turkey wouldn't have much to do. You see, never mind the money. That's always great. Convos with Cam, salute. That's always great. But Turkey came through and he was making people in the rankings that were close to each other and things of that nature. He was making them fight because he had the bag. Money was moving these dudes, and I understand they're prize fighters. I get it. But if Turkey didn't come in, we'd be stuck right now with the what if and what if this happened? What if that happened? No, Turkey came through and got stuff done. Yeah, salute, Queen. Dritch, what up? So he came through with a bag, and he was also making things pop. And the first thing he wanted to make pop was Devon versus Tank. And whose fault was that? Tank. That was his fault. And now Turkey came through and he got so much money, he's undermining the sanctioning bodies. They had to play ball or move to the side. Everybody. So that's why when people started talking about Tank with, oh, I ain't got to bend the knee, I ain't got to kiss the ring. First of all, to say that he's going that far is disrespectful, because they're all prize fighters, and he does want his bank, right? He does want his money, right? So Turkey had money for him. He did not. Forget that. Give me 2 Ferraris, and he ain't send him 2 Ferraris. No. It was a $50 million purse split on the line. He didn't do it. Bottom line. Because he was afraid. And we could say that in confidence right now. He was afraid. He was afraid. He was afraid of losing, and he was afraid how bad the loss was going to be, and he's afraid of how he's going to get cheated on the internet because he's a sensitive, insecure child. That's Tank Davis. And it's been proven now. It's been proven. Ain't no one mad at him getting money. The money was in Saudi. I ain't got to bend the knee. He ain't got to bend the knee for Tank. He got online and tweeted and then deleted it. All y'all over there risking y'all resumes, risking y'all rankings. Yeah, because boxing's a risk. And they're not doing it for free. They're doing it for money, because if there was no Turkey Al-Sheikh, those guys that fought on those cards, more than likely, those are their highest paydays. DP Rocker, 919, salute. Those are their highest paydays, and they risked it and put it on the line. You didn't do that because you're a coward. It's not bending knee. They're feeding their families. Josh Patley got retired for doing what, Tank? Something you didn't want to do. Fight Shakur. He did it on short notice and went to work sometime later. And Turkey said, hold on. What? Work? No, come back and fight again. I'll retire you. And that's what he did, Tank. He did it for his family. And he did it. Josh Patley fought Shakur on a couple of weeks' notice. And his reward, he lost to Shakur, but the paycheck retired his family. Tank fans will tell you that Tank beats everybody, including Shakur. Okay, well, there was more life-changing money for him to fight Shakur, and he refused to do it. For him to fight Devon, he refused to do it. And to justify that stance, y'all said he had to bend the knee to Turkey. No, Turkey's a businessman, and everybody's been well compensated. Tank didn't want to compensate himself and feed his family. He stayed on the PBC side of things, fighting for chump change, because that's the equivalent, lying about the money he was making. Let's not forget that. He lied about a 7-fight deal, lied about his hit list, because he's a liar. You notice whenever I have a Tank fan up here, I say, yo, is Tank a liar? And there's always a pause. And then they answer it by saying, oh, well, you know, people lie. Oh, well, you know, he's human. No. Answer the question. Yes or no. Is he a liar? Because, you know, he lied. He lied to you. Don, what up? He's a liar. That's what he is. He's a liar. Absolutely, he's a liar. He lied to you about the 7-fight deal. He lied to you about the hit list. He's a liar. Derrick Gaines, the legend, salute. He is a liar. He's a liar. And it's been proven over and over and over. And now it's proven that he's a coward. He's a coward. And I've asked the Tankaholics, okay, bending the knee and kissing the ring of Turkey is a no-no. But this idiot is bending the knee and kissing the ring of Jake Paul. He told him to his face. He didn't even know. He was on the damn stage talking about, you paying me? That's facts. That's facts. Then he takes his hat off and starts scratching his head like the monkey he is, looking around and start calling for names. Because he really didn't know who's signing this check. He didn't know that. If he knew that when Jake said that, he'd be like, man, that's cap. You ain't paying me. So-and-so paying me. So you can accept a check from this blonde-haired, blue-eyed non-boxer, as your fans are trying to call him now. That he's not a boxer, but y'all okay with this, who is literally damn near 100 pounds heavier than you. And that fight is okay. Jose, what up? Phenomenal Mexican, Del Riv, salute. And that fight is okay. But you fighting Shakur in your weight division for title unification is not okay. This kid is everything we told you he was. And the latest thing he did was something that was brought to my attention yesterday, because I am not on Twitter. That's why I didn't want to wait until Monday to do this live. Further proof that Tank is an asshole. I found out yesterday that he disabled his Twitter, his X account, right? I'm like, well, shit, why he do that? Because this ain't the first time he done it, right? I think this is what, the second time he's done it. Y'all bring me up to speed. But not before he got into an argument with Shakur, telling him he'll never fight him. Aha, you'll never eat off my name. I don't know exactly what he said, but basically, because I listened to bits and pieces to the good brother Aki TV. Go subscribe to Aki TV. And the brother was like, I think he said something to the effect of, basically, you'll never fight me. I'll never fight you. The last time we did fight, it was in the sparring session. I got the better of you. That's it. And you're not going to get paid off of my name. And Shakur responded like, you know, that's all right. I ain't chasing you no more. It's all good. But know this now, Tank fans. Shakur did chase Tank. He was out loud about it. And there's more than one interview on this internet, on these YouTube streets, where he was asked, are you going to fight Shakur? He said, for what? What did Shakur ever do? Well, he did more than Hector Garcia. He did more than Ryan Garcia. He did more than Mario Barrios. And right now, he's in your weight class with another belt. And yet, this is the kid you support. Felix, salute. Absolutely. 70 pounds and 7 inches over him. He said it's only 7. Yep. Tank Davis is going to go down in history as the most overrated / biggest puss in the history of the sport. And that's how we're going to remember him. Because when he hangs it up after this Jake Paul debacle, whatever happens, after he hangs it up, because he said he's retiring in 8 weeks, right? After he hangs it up, all we're going to remember, and everything's documented, all we're going to remember is who he didn't fight. That's all we're going to remember, who he didn't fight. He's a big short coward. You know how we say, oh, he's small, but he got big heart. No. He's small, but his cowardice eclipsed the sun. Ratchet, what up? Dude's a clown. But what I want to talk about is Jake Paul does this interview. And he said he's bringing in some smaller guys who fight southpaw. And he dropped names. And I was just listening. I'm like, who's he bringing in? He said Montana Love. I said, uh-oh. Then he said Jermaine Ortiz. I said, uh-oh. Then he said Shakur. I said, oh. Then he said Erickson Lubin, who is now in camp to fight Virgil Ortiz. I say, oh, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. The Brothers UK, salute, brother. And I watched that. I said, well, you know, is Jake trolling? Because he said he's a troll. I said, is he trolling? What's happening here? Those are some names, right? Sam Max, salute. But I said, look, I want to park on this Shakur thing. Edward, salute. I want to park on this Shakur thing. We just had a situation where when the news dropped, let me tell you how the news dropped. Boots Ennis going to Canelo Alvarez camp to help him prepare for Bud Crawford. Stormy in the building, salute. And I said, oh, I don't like that. Why did Boots answer the call? Language is important. Why did Boots answer the call? Language is important. Why did Boots answer the call? Language is important. You know why? Because the majority of us assumed that Team Canelo contacted Boots and Boots just said yes. Come to find out, Boots called them, which made it a little worse. He was like, yo, why is Boots going over there, man? He's not on code. I know you don't like Bud and, you know, whatever, but come on, bro. That's off code, man. Damien, what up? I didn't like that. You know how that fan base does. I saw some things. One of yours is coming to help ours beat one of yours. I'm like, all right. But just know this, one of yours needs one of ours to beat one of ours. That was my snapback. Beezy, what up? Tony, what up? Mr. Cellblock, salute. So that came and went, and that's over now. And here we go again. The white man contacted let's be fair, 2 black, 1 brown, and 1 mix in Shakur because he's black and Boricua. Okay. To help him prepare for Stank Davis. I'll allow it. Woke, what up? I'll allow it. Oh, come on, Drew. You always talking about code. What code? What? Let me ask you a question. What code is Tank on? Let's explore that. What code is Tank on? Business? Tank a boss, right? He a boss that's working with Al Heyman. He's a boss that had a 7-fight deal that he lied about. I was happy to hear that he had a 7-fight deal because I said 7 fights. I know Devon and Shakur and Tio, at least those dudes are in it. I know. And then he said they were in it. And then we found out there was no deal. So no deal, no hit list. I said, what's happening here? And then here come Lamont Roach. We was like, yo, well, for those of you that don't know, a lot of y'all were like, who's that? I said, wait a minute. Ain't he fighting at 130? Ain't he fighting at 130? Let that marinate. Huh? And I said, is there 2 Lamont Roaches? I said, wait a minute. Didn't he fight Hector Luis Garcia at 130 though? Am I bugging? I said, no, that's not the guy. I said, wait a minute. Is there more than one Lamont Roach? Because he has a unique name. I said, wait a minute. Didn't he lose to Jamel Herring? So then I went to good old Google and BoxRec. I said, yo, I watched that fight. He's at 130. Why is Tank fighting him? Village Brother, salute. I said, well, that's the guy that fought Jamel Herring and lost at 130. I said, why is Tank fighting him? Why is he even on the list? And what did Tank's fans say? Oh, he wants to break bread with him. Remember that? Oh, he's trying to feed his people. I said, that's great. So he's looking out for somebody? And I said, are y'all sure y'all want to go with that? Well, yeah, you just hating. I'm hating? Wait a minute. Didn't your man Boxing Ego put out a 4-page love letter a la Aaliyah style? I'm writing you a 4-page letter and I'll seal it with a kiss. Remember that song? And wasn't one of the things that Ego said was, this is why he fucks with Tank. Remember when he said Tank's not trying to be friends with anyone in or around his weight class? That means 35, 30, 26, 47, 54. I said, okay. It's the hurt business. You can be friends later. Okay. So how is he trying to break bread with his DMV man? When according to one of the biggest Tank supporters, he ain't got no mans. He ain't got no friends. That's what y'all said. That's what y'all co-signed. See, y'all be stepping over each other. See, I listen to shit like that. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not his boy. He ain't got no friends. And he damn sure act like it, don't he? So what you mean he's trying to feed his man? And then when Roach go in there and fight him head up, didn't run, fought him in the pocket, punch for punch with him, to the point where I'm a little shocked. Like, wait a minute, he's standing in the pocket with Tank. He's asking for it because Tank hit hard. And that punch never came. In fact, he punched Tank all up in his face and made him take a knee. And then he was supposed to get disqualified. So I said, what's going on in this fight? You know what's going on? He didn't hit him with a rehydration clause. And there was VADA testing. Yeah, I'm going there because I can. true, right? It's true, right? But take it a step back. Leading up to that fight, remember they were supposed to go to Houston? Toyota Center? And then the dates was being goofed around, and then next thing you know, it's not at the Toyota Center. And we was like, wait, what's going on? And then Blue says, yo, I think the PBC got financial problems. And then they were calling him haters. And I don't need to revisit all of that because we was all here for it. Blue has been 150% correct about Stank Davis the whole time. The whole time. Joe Townsend in the building. And his fan base was running to these channels where they make them feel comfortable to get these weird ass talking points, and it all failed. And then I'm looking at the presser and I'm like, why the presser look this low budget? What the fuck is this? I said, you know what? I think they're having financial problems. Don't bend the knee to turkey, but you know who bent the knee to turkey? Al Heyman. Uh-oh. Fights to a draw. And then something strange happened. Oh man, his next opponent was in the locker room. I said, well, wasn't Shakur in the locker room? People was like, yeah. I said, okay. And I know Jake Paul was there, but I wasn't even thinking about that. I really was not. I said, nah, that can't be. Then here come Blue Blood. He's fighting Jake Paul next. I'm like, oh God, no. When Blue said it, I got concerned. I said, oh no, please. I wanted Blue to be wrong about that news, like how I got all the way to St. Martin and I got a phone call saying, yo, don't say nothing yet, but Ryan Garcia popped dirty versus Devon. And I said, no. Just let it be a clean win and have Devon run it back because I don't want to deal with this. I know what comes with this. Please be wrong. Nope. We were right. And I'm like, damn it. Yo, Drew, sorry to tell you, man, he's fighting Jake Paul next. I'm like, damn. And here we are. I wanted to be wrong. Code, right? If it's not more clear that he's about his money and safety because he knows he can't beat his contemporary. It's not even a conversation at this point. It's about his money, and then he wants to be safe because he don't want to lose to anybody that looks like him. But he has no problem fighting someone that's damn near 100 pounds heavier than him in a clown show where his safety is legitimately in question in this fight. He will not break bread with his black contemporaries, but he will break bread with a white man who's not a real fighter, according to him. According to everybody, he's not a real fighter. But he's going to pay him. This black punching bag, just remember this. If this ends badly for Tank, just remember he volunteered for this. When he could have fought Shakur, and he would have gotten credit no matter what happened. He could have fought Devon. He would have gotten credit no matter what happened. He could have fought Tio, where he would have gotten credit. Brother Reef, salute. But this monkey agrees to fight Jake Paul. And Jake Paul name dropped all of these guys who are active fighters. Some of them got fights lined up. Eric Salubin has a fight coming up. Shakur and Tio are supposed to be locking horns. I just heard that Teofimo has been ordered to fight Shakur. I think they said either fight Shakur or who else? I forget. Oh, Keyshawn Davis. They're saying you got to fight Shakur or Keyshawn, or you got to come up off that strap and get out of town. Get out of here. Mr. Cell Block is asking, what contract does Jake have to abide by? I'm curious. Jake made the rules. Jake made the rules. This is his event. If you notice, and I could be wrong, y'all let me know, GTD is not attached to this event at all. This is all MVP. There was a discrepancy about the gloves. Well, Jake Paul's clear with the gloves. He said, he told Coach Cal, check your email. Y'all emailed me about the gloves. Y'all don't want 10-ounce gloves? Fine, what kind of gloves you want? And then he starts saying, I'll fight an 8-ounce. I'll fight bare knuckle. Do y'all understand that if y'all want smaller gloves, Tank is a significantly smaller human being. If y'all give Tank 8-ounce gloves and Paul says, okay, I'm going to squeeze in the 8-ounce gloves, you know that's more dangerous for Tank? That's damn near a UFC glove for Jake. Man, y'all don't know how dangerous this is. This legitimately could be a Drago versus Apollo situation, literally, in real life. And I think Jake Paul wouldn't mind having that type of win on his resume. Motherfuckers got mad at Deontay when he said, I want a body on my resume. At least he was talking about people in his weight class, and Deontay is the smallest heavyweight running around leveling people. Y'all lost y'all mind on Deontay. Remember that? Remember the WBC launched an investigation, all that shit? Where's the investigation for this shit? Georgia said, we don't want nothing to do with what could possibly happen in this. And I'm telling you, the potential of something ugly happening is very high. And if something happens to this monkey in the ring, his blood is on the Tank Davis fans. I don't want y'all screaming and hollering about Jake Paul and how he shouldn't have did it. No, Tank signed up for this. He literally prostituted himself for a paycheck while ducking his contemporaries, because I don't believe that Shakur has enough power to put him in a blender where his life is at risk. Not Devon, not Shakur, not Teofimo. But Jake Paul is a bigger human being. Exactly, Stormy. If he dies, he dies. Translation. Many of us just stop caring. Delano, salute. Many of us just stop caring. If he dies, he dies. And further proof as to the last conversation he had before he disabled his Twitter account. What he said to Shakur is out of pocket. This guy was never your brother. So is he off code? Are these guys off code for assisting Jake Paul for his preparation to fight Tank Davis? I'm going to go with I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Because I don't care what happens. See Money, salute, Bed-Stuy. I'll allow it. Like in court, I'll allow it. Yeah, I'll allow it. I don't care. You know why? Because of what Ego said. He's not trying to be friends with anyone in or around his division. This kid already feels that people don't like him and they hate you 1 minute, then they love you the next. How about this, Tank? We showed you love. And what I asked from him as a boxer is not unreasonable. Your fans, Tim, what up? Your fans insist that you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. All I ever said was, great, you're entitled to feel that way. Can he prove it? And I've waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And now in 8 weeks, he says he's retiring. He said that. I didn't say that. So what about you guys like the brother Delano in the chat? Mag 7. Oh, I think he's going to spin the block and give us the Roach rematch. Roach shouldn't even been in the rotation, but he put him there, and there was a cherry pick gone wrong. So now you think he's going to spin the block? Fight Jake Paul, spin the block. What did Max 7 say? Spin the block. Well, take a year off. He's already old. Tank is already old. He's in his 30s now. Take a year off. He's distracted by other things outside the ring. Nonsense. take a year off, come back, and then fight Lamont Roach. Oh yeah, Drew. I mean Stormy. No, that last comment wasn't soft. Soft. Tank, his back is against the wall so bad that he's even telling his supporters to eat a dick. And they are. Happily. That's the funny part. That's the funny part. They're happily eating penis. And I want y'all to understand that. I'm not speaking for no one else. I'm speaking for me. Y'all told me that this nigga was next up years ago. And I watched him and I said, hey, man, this kid got something. He's with Floyd and Floyd's directing people. Okay. And then Lomachenko started making noise. And all I said was, yo, that young lion from Baltimore, get him, bro. He can get him. And I said, this dude lost to Orlando Salido. He put that Mexican pressure on him and just pounded the body and made it rough. And that tap dancer from the Ukraine couldn't deal with it. And I know that Tank Davis is light years better than Orlando Salido. I said, man, Tank knocks him out. And I went from saying Tank knocks him out to, yo, Tank, just fight him, to, oh, come on, Tank, to, man, go ahead, man. He on the podium, Bob Arum saying, I don't want to hear about no Tank Davis. Go talk to Floyd Mayweather and let an Ellaby. They run him. Then they give Loma the mic. He says, I think he's the best at Twitter. I said, ooh, Tank, go get him. And he never did it. And there's no excuse for it. It is now 2025. That shit happened in 2018, 2019. Then we had a whole pandemic. And now we're 5 years removed from the pandemic, and he hasn't fought anybody. And this is your king. I'm talking about competition, and I've never seen, since AJ and Wilder, fans talk about his opponents not doing anything, but in the meantime, the opponents that matter, he avoided, but fought opponents that we never asked for. I never asked for Hector Garcia. I never asked for Ryan Garcia, and y'all said money. I said, well, I'm not on his team. I'm not getting a cut of that. Ryan hasn't done shit. Y'all talking about what has he done? What has Shakur done? More than Ryan? More than Ryan? Was Ryan an Olympian, by the way? Did he get a medal in the Olympics? Educate me. Was Ryan being scouted out the Olympics by Floyd Mayweather? The only time Floyd started talking with Ryan was to deflect him away from Devon Haney. C Money says, Drew, I think Tank is passing the torch to Jake to be the face of boxing. Guess what? Tank can't pass no torch, brother. He never had it. And that's the trick. You see what I'm saying, C Money? That's the trick. Tank in reality. You see, Tank is fool's gold. This is the perfect example of fool's gold. You ever heard that term? I know some of y'all are a little younger than me. Fool's gold. There's real gold, but then there was something called fool's gold. Right? Kudos, salute. Tank can't pass no torch because the reality is he never had it. Y'all ever been to like Disney World or Universal Studios? There's a lot of optical illusions. PGH, salute. You ever been to those amusement parks? I went and they have like a Harry Potter thing over there. And it's an amazing thing. If y'all are familiar with the movies, the actual castle is in that park. And you're standing away from it and it looks like the castle from the movie. You look up at it like, oh, that's the castle from the movie. But when you go next to it, it's really not the actual size. It's the castle, but it's not as big, and it's a Harry Potter ride. But when you're standing away from it, it looks like the actual castle. And through the speakers in the park, you're hearing the Harry Potter music. They want you to have that experience. And Tank looks the part. He talks real ignorant. He got a lot of tattoos and cornrows. He's gotten into trouble in the street. He fits the mold of what these young YNs want to idolize and worship. Not their fathers and hardworking parents and proper black people, but ignorant nigga nonsense. They idolize nigga nonsense. And he could fight. But who is he for? He looks good against people he's supposed to beat. So they gave him a virtual torch. And when you walk up on him, it's an amusement park and it's an optical illusion. He has no torch to give you. He's not the face of boxing. You know what passing the torch would be as an example? As an example, if Alexander Usyk says, all right, my next fight is my last fight and I'm gone. Oh my God, is it a Fury rematch? Is he fighting Dubois again? Oh my God. And he, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, says, I'm gonna fight, what's homie's name? The light-skinned brother. That one-punched homie, Honey, that fought Honey and was losing the fight, but he one-punched him. I'm having a brain fart this morning. Help me out, y'all. What's his name? The black brother from the UK. I like him too. He's nice with it. God, what is his name? I'm sorry, y'all. What is his name? What's that brother's name? Just for he was losing the whole fight and then one punched him. What's his name? Dante in that super chat salute. He said, salute my brother LDBC for life, man. Salute, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. What is his name, y'all? He was supposed to fight Big Baby. Fabio Wardley. Thank you. Aircraft. Thank you. If Usyk says, you know what, I'm going to give him an opportunity. No, not Parker, because Parker been around the block already. I'm just saying in reference to passing a torch. Does Parker deserve a Usyk fight? Yeah, but I'm just using this for an example. Fabio Wardley, I don't know the rankings. I ain't even going to hold you, but I'm going to assume Parker deserves that fight. But let's just say Usyk says, hey, I'm retiring my next fight. So I'm going to do what I want to do. So what do you want to do, man? I'm going to give Fabio Wardley an opportunity. That will be an attempt to pass the torch. And let's say Fabio goes in there and somehow beats him. That's passing the torch. The only reason why I'm not saying Parker is because Parker been around the block. You know what I'm saying? That's not, and what I'm saying is Tank is in no position to do that. His last fight was a draw, and he's not running that back. That's cowardly. So he has no torch to, and that's the answer. My Bed-Stuy brother. That's not Black Jericho. Salute. Scorpio. What up? That's not Tay. Good morning. That's not passing the torch. He has no torch to pass. He has no torch to pass. What he has is a rabid fan base that unconditionally loves him, and they're embarrassed right now because they can't defend him. They really can't. At this point, I respect the Tank fans that rode him till the wheels fell off, but you know that the wheels fell off. At this point, you know, because there's no defending this. And they've tried, but it's to the point where he's now cussing out people that actually supported him. He is crash out, manifested into a human being right now, or manifested into a monkey. Because that's what he is. He calls himself the big ape, right? No, he's a monkey. He's not even an ape. He's a monkey. Silverbacks run shit. Silverbacks are the goddamn alpha males. When he moves, the whole clique moves. All of those babies are his. Tank don't move like that. He can't keep a chick. He'll knock one up and they say, no. Run me my bread, though. So he has no torch to pass. He's never been undisputed. He won't fight his contemporaries, and he's fighting a clown fight right now that where he can get hurt at. So he'd rather fight a guy that's almost 100 pounds heavier than him, and there was no belt involved because he is a WBA email champion. Let's not forget that. He has Devon's old belt. Did he fight Devon for it? No. Did Devon want to fight him? Yes. He said no. Fool's gold. So none of these brothers on the left side of this meme are sellouts or nothing like that. No. They are forming like Voltron to help Jake Paul get Tank the fuck out the sport. Get out the sport, take your fans with you. Get your bread, Tank. Yeah, that's what the Tank fans want us to say, right? Fine, get your money, bruh. Get your money. And if you really leave it in 8 weeks, get your bread and get out of here. Great, get your bread. Just leave, man. Get out the way. I want to see Jermaine Ortiz versus Shakur. Teofimo versus Shakur. Montana Love versus anybody. Devon versus Brian Norman. Let's get to some boxing here. Your fan base is incapable of doing that. So please retire and take those ignorant niggas with you. Get out the way. Because I get on here, I try and talk boxing, and I get sidetracked by this monkey shit. I'm tired of it, man. Go away. Get out the way, bro. You haven't given me anything that I wanted. Man, and I say this respectfully, I didn't even ask for Frank Martin. I really didn't. I didn't. And then you drained him. I know that. I rooted for you when you fought Ryan Garcia, but you drained him. You did. He drained him. Can I ask y'all a question? And I see Delano in here, whatever. If you're a Tank fan and you just D-watch right now, I'll allow it. I'll allow your comment. Just be respectful. Don't get on here trying to clown or whatever. It ain't gonna work out for you. Have I ever lied on Tank? I've given my opinion. My opinion are based off the facts. If I'm not sure what the facts are, I always tell my audience, I'm not sure, but is it this? Don't you always hear me say, educate me? I mean it, because I don't know everything. Have I ever lied on Tank? You might not like what I've had to say, but have I ever lied on him? Was he really supposed to be in the ring with Lamont Roach? We said, oh man, who's Tank's next opponent? Lamont Roach. And I said, who the fuck is that? I said, wait. That can't be the dude that Jamel Herring beat. Is that him? Oh shit, it's him. Why is he fighting him? He's at 130. Oh man, why are you hating? He's trying to break bread with his brother. Wait, Turkey tried to get him and Devon to break bread in Saudi. And then y'all said, oh, well, no. Tank said, no, well, that's his boy. Turkey is his man. Well, let me ask you a question. What's more pussycat? What would have been more pussycat? What Tank did, not getting at least a $25 million payday to knock Devon's head off? Because that's what y'all said he was going to do. I disagree. Red 4, salute. Not getting that bread in Saudi and being disrespectful to your Muslim brother, asking for 2 Ferraris. It'd have been funny if he said, well, fuck that. I'll give you 3 Ferraris. Come down. He wouldn't have went because he's a coward. Is that more disrespectful? Is that more cowardly, declining that? Or if Devon said, I'm not going to Australia for them to rob me. Devon is a dog. Tank would never do what Devon did. And he got deeper pockets. Y'all talking about bread and getting your bread and getting your bread. You know Devon got more bread than Tank. You know that, right? You know Devon's a real boss. He calls his own shots. He makes deals. You know that, right? Devon's a boss. Tank is not. Devon is everything that y'all want Tank to be. He's not. You know what Tank Davis is in this industry? And I need y'all to follow me on this. Fuck fool's gold. Tank is Vanilla Ice. You remember Vanilla Ice in the 90s? Remember that? Y'all were young back then, but I know Stormy knows. Some of y'all know. Y'all remember the Soul Train Awards? And Heavy D got up on there, and they said best rapper, or best rap, whatever the fuck. King salute. And he said, and the winner is Vanilla. I don't think so. And everyone laughed. You know why he laughed? Because that year, Vanilla Ice at every music award show, with the exception of the Soul Train Music Awards, he won so many awards. Best new artist, best rapper, best production, best dance. He ran away with so many awards. And his treatment was racist. But he wasn't racist. He actually loved hip hop. And it wasn't his fault that they put him on a pedestal, but they put him there. And people that really knew hip hop and knew good rap music, we looked at that and said, all right, man, we were going to leave him alone. We were going to let him live, but he's running away with all these awards, and that's bullshit. And you know when he really, really, really got on the bad side of the black community? Do y'all remember what he did? I'm going to tell you what he did. He dissed MC Hammer. And I'm going to tell you this, on the East Coast, I don't know about y'all brothers on, I heard Hammer had a lot of respect in Oakland. And I hear that. But when he came out, the first thing we said out here, see, in the East Coast, we all about bars. We had some dancers, we had categories. Kid and Play were excellent dancers. That was enough. And they were decent rappers. They were decent. But, you know, they started doing movies. They were entertainers, and we accepted that too. They were more of an act. They weren't like hardcore MCs. They were more of an act. And that was their lane, and we loved them for that. Hammer, growing with soul, salute, ball, salute. Hammer wasn't the best lyricist. We heard that immediately. But when we saw his first video, Let's Get It Started, we was like, man, this brother could dance, man. So we accepted Hammer. Not as an MC, but as a dancer. We accepted it. He came and did the Apollo here, and he had it jumping. We accepted because he had a lane. He had a lane. Vanilla Ice came through. They put him on. The industry was looking for a great white hope. And at that time, he was the only white rapper. And they put him on a pedestal. They gave him a bunch of awards. And we were like, what the fuck? Hell no. Just Spark salute. We was like, nah, man. But we let him live. And then he dissed MC Hammer. And then by the time Vanilla got to the Arsenio Hall show, Arsenio, you know, he interviewed him, but it was a bit of an interrogation. And the sad part is, y'all know Vanilla Ice started as a dancer, right? He could dance. But someone told him it was a good idea. Yo, you need to challenge MC Hammer to a dance-off and a rap-off. No. Leave that alone. And then he became a bit of a joke. And then once Jim Carrey imitated him on In Living Color, it was over. It was over. He disappeared for a while, then came back, tried to reinvent himself. He did a song about him smoking weed, and he had dreads. It was a nightmare. Then he disappeared. And real white rappers from New York that had real talent, they got mad because it's like, yo, he made it hard for us. MC Search, Prime Minister Pete Nice, third base. They were like, yo, he made it difficult for us because those dudes were real MCs. Search was a real MC. Search and Pete Nice were real MCs. And it was like, man, we was right on the brink of doing something special, and then here this motherfucker come. He made it difficult for us. Damn. He made it difficult. And luckily for them, they broke through, but they never crossed over. They never crossed over. Even the Beastie Boys, they made a lateral move, but we understood them. They had a lane for themselves that they never claimed to be the best and ran around trying to battle anybody. The Beastie Boys had a lane. And they did some good music. And then they kind of crossed over to the rock alternative thing, but they had a lane and they never violated. They never violated. Eminem, he's a great lyricist, but he doesn't violate. He does not. Tank Davis is a goddamn fraud. He's a goddamn fraud. He never had a torch to pass because he never had it. I did a show a while ago, and it's on my page. It says Devon Haney, pure work. And I was just running down the things he was doing. And I said, look, I'm watching him get busy. He's looking for the smoke. That night, I was coming from the gym. My phone rang, and it was Trill Bill. I'm like, yo, what up, Bill? He said, yo, man, I just saw your video, man. I appreciate you. I didn't know he was watching. And I think he may have been in the car with Devon. He said, man, we were watching that. He wasn't, I think I heard Devon. I've never spoken to Devon over the phone. Bill, I've spoken to a bunch of times. But he called me to let me know, man, bro, I appreciate you. I wasn't doing that for that. I did it because it needed to be done. Because I saw this Tank Davis shit bubbling. Tank fans don't even accredit Devon for getting on a plane and going to Australia with no fucking corner. Unique Dawn, salute. Now, how the fuck am I in my living room rooting for Tank to stop Ryan because he's a marketing scheme? And this is before the drug thing and everything else. And then when Devon gets in the ring with Ryan, the goddamn Tank fans are rooting for Ryan. And then when we thought he won, we ate that. And then we found out he cheated. Y'all want to go against the athletic commissions? VADA? The people who the association that tests the urine specimens, and y'all tried really hard, and then y'all turned the attention on us talking about, oh, y'all want Ryan to be guilty. This need to want him to be guilty, all because y'all love Devon. Of course we love Devon. That's our brother. Of course we love Bill. That's our brother. Y'all want him to be wrong because y'all hate Bill. Y'all need Devon to lose because y'all have a stupid point to prove. I ain't have no point to prove. I know what Ryan Garcia in this industry meant. They want the next Oscar De La Hoya looking kid, but they could do without the work because they could sell some seats without the work. The difference is Oscar looked the way he looked, and when he fought on HBO, they noticed that women watched him fight because he was a handsome kid. They said, we making money off this kid, plus he could fight, but that's the thing. Oscar could fight. I have nothing to say about Oscar's professional boxing career. Look at the resume. He's a Hall of Fame fighter. Fuck his behavior now. But he's a Hall of Fame fighter. He earned the stripes that he has. Rico Savo in the building. TD Sports, salute. He earned his stripes. I could say that about Oscar. I can't say that about Ryan, but they're trying to capture the same type of marketing behind him, and he hasn't done enough. They threw him in the ring with Tank, and he got stopped. They threw him in there with Rolly without the drugs, and he looked horrible and got knocked down in that fight. And you're like, whoa, that's the guy that fought Devon? Huh? That him? What the hell? And all the motherfuckers that call themselves cool with me, oh, y'all just want Ryan to be, y'all have this need for Ryan to be guilty. Well, he was guilty. And then a little bit of salt on the wounds. Then you found out that he was racist. Look at that, 20 people fell off. That always happens when I start telling the truth. 20 people fell off, and now some trolls are gonna pull up. Do your worst, it's okay. Did you niggas call me back? Yo, Drew, man, you know what? You was right. I'm not saying you have to like Bill. That's okay. You don't have to like him. I don't care. But tell the truth, though. Was Ryan a cheater? Yes. And a little salt on the wounds, we found out he was racist on top of that. These niggas refuse to call me up and apologize. And I'm not even looking for an apology. I'm just letting y'all know these are the type of quote-unquote brothers that are lurking around our community. Country bumpkin yellow niggas. Old fools, well-dressed, but doing your live streams in Starbucks every fucking day. Sometimes you don't gotta lift a finger, just let shit play out. God's not a liar. It's not on your time, it's on his time. All you gotta do is watch. How many times you heard me say that? Time reveals all truth. And what happened? Everything about Ryan came out. Don't listen to us, it's not speculation. It's in black and white now. Got in there with Rolly, oh, he's gonna kill Rolly. He's gonna kill Rolly. How many times Rolly got knocked out? How many times he had hard fights? No one ever said Rolly was done. He talked slow and all that. Well, now he's running around with a belt. They inserted a belt into the Rolly Ryan shit because they just knew Ryan was gonna win, right? Well, Rolly won and dominated. Now what? Here come Turkey. Hey, you know, you can still fight Devon. Okay, let's go with he was rusty. It was ring rust. Now, how the fuck did Devon look so sharp that Ramirez couldn't do nothing with him? And Ryan looked like shit. And they were out the ring the same amount of time. Yo, y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Y'all hear me? Press 1 if you can hear me. Press 1 if you can hear me. Press 1 if you can hear me. All right. All right, you can hear me, right? Yeah, my bad. My bad. I don't know what happened. There was a glitch in the matrix. That's why you always have to have a backup plan. There's a little glitch. So I don't know what happened. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate that. I don't know what happened. That wasn't Miguel either. I looked down, my modem turned red, and then it turned purple, and then I was like, what the hell? What the hell is that? What the helly? What the helly? What the helly on? What the Haney? What the Halle Berry? What the Hal Jordan? Green Lantern? Anyway. Yeah, Ryan Garcia, another circus act. Oh, yeah, I was talking about, Turkey came through and he said, hey, the fight can still happen. And then what did Ryan do? He said, yo, my hand broke. And what do we know about hand injuries? They're the most difficult to prove. They're the most difficult to prove, aren't they? Hand injuries. Yeah, God had luck. Yeah, that's exactly what they said. Yeah, I'm keeping it too honest this morning. You feel me? Then they said, hey, man, look, you ain't gotta. Look, man, Ryan Garcia is another marketing scheme that failed on his face. Hand injury. And you know what's crazy? Nobody questioned it. This is a kid that's a liar and a racist. Nobody questioned it. No one said, yo, hand injury? Hold on, man. Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. Rolly beat him so bad, this nigga was crying in the goddamn ambulance. Hoe ass. And nobody questioned anything. If Devon says, hey, man, I hurt my goddamn middle knuckle. I got to postpone the Brian Norman fight for a month. Y'all going to have a meltdown, man. Y'all going to have a meltdown. Oh, he's ducking, you see? He's ducking. Y'all ain't got no smoke for Ryan Garcia, bro. Y'all ain't got no smoke for Stank Davis, man. Devon has ran out here and literally tried to fight everybody. Y'all just talking. Y'all just hate to hate. You see, that's why I need knuckle draggers like you to go away. Just go away, man. It's okay. Y'all have lost every argument. The Ryan Garcia argument, you lost. The Tank Davis argument, you lost. What's next? Whose dick you gonna suck next? When this kid retires, and I hope he leaves, and stays gone. Don't disappear for 12 months and come back to resurrect dead channels because they don't talk about nothing else but you. Leave and stay gone. But if he comes back, whatever. What do you want to see him do? Because even if he comes back, I don't want no light work because your contemporaries are still going to be around. Email champion. Remember that? Devon's an email champion. Nigga, you have his WBA strap right now. How'd you get it? You damn sure ain't fight Devon for it. Bitch ass nigga. Define email champion. You see, this is why these dudes really don't want to talk to me. Email champion, define that. When did the term email champion come about? When did the term email champion come about? Let me help you out. It came about when Devon got a hold of Lomachenko's WBC strap. When it was sent to him via email. Did Devon ask for the belt? No. He wanted to fight for the belt. Why was it sent to Devon via email? Because Lomachenko ducked him and accepted a franchise status. Well, I'm sorry. Loma lied and said they offered it to him and he accepted it. Mauricio Simian said, no, it has to be requested and we have to vote for it. We have to vote for it. It's either yay or nay. And it's Lomachenko. Absolutely, they gave it to him, but you can't have both. Okay, so what are you going to do with the WBC strap? Send it to Devon Haney. He was next up anyway. That's what they did. And instead of ridiculing the motherfucker who ducked the fight and sent the email, you ridiculed Devon Haney. And you stink-ass Tank Davis fans ridiculed him right along with it. And I say, wait a minute. Y'all got some nerve. Number one, Devon wanted to fight him for it. Like he wants to fight Tank Davis. Number two, at least Devon wants to fight Lomachenko. Tank does not want to fight him. So what the fuck are y'all laughing at? Who are y'all trying to roast, calling him an email champion? And then furthermore, after Devon became undisputed at 135 on Tank's watch, because apparently that was his division, right? He left, and the WBA said, hey, Tank, we're going to give you our belt. Tank said, I don't want that shit. But he hasn't. How you going to tell me you don't want something and now you're walking around with it? You know what he sounds like? Y'all know that dude? Man, I can't stand my baby's moms. Nigga, shut up. You got like 9 kids with her, bro. You cannot stay up out that box. Man, I can't stand that bitch. I just saw you at the movies with her. I just saw you in front of her building. I just saw you climbing through her window. I just saw you fighting with a dude because you saw him with her. You can't stand her. Shut up, man. Just go get married and stop it. That's Tank. I don't want no WBA strap. Keep that shit. I don't want that shit. Tank, take this belt and shut up. Baltimore. And he run off like he's doing in the meme. Give me the belt. I'm out. There you go. That's what he does. That's what happened. Now stop me when I'm lying. You know, I'm telling little jokes here, but stop me when I'm lying. I don't have to lie on this kid. I'm just telling y'all what happened. If you want to listen to word salad and these niggas that think they got big brains trying to articulate and do all kinds of dick math. No, you see, because what happened was, you know, Devon, he said he was going to hold on to his belt until the end of the year. And you see, what y'all don't want to know, what y'all don't want to acknowledge, is that Devon said he was going to hold on to that belt to the end of the year. And he didn't do it. He let it go, and there was 3 weeks left. Wait a minute, he let it go at the end of the first week in December? Nigga, that's the end of the year. Stop it. What was he supposed to do? Get rid of his titles at 11:59 New Year's Eve? How quickly we forget the Super Matias situation. No one even talks about that anymore. You remember when Devon was ducking him and Bill pulled up on me? It was like, yeah, we've been in contact with the team. Then come to find out Peter Khan was trying to play middleman. Oh, Bill lied. No, Peter Khan lied, you idiots. And then Bill pulled up on Superdale's team on the Boxing Voice that Monday. He said, you know what? I was talking to the wrong guy, but I'm talking to the right people now. What's up? Oh, well, Superdale's hand is broken. Here we go with the hand shit again. Subriel's hand is broken, and we have to wait. And but you know what? We'll fly you out to Arizona in 2 weeks. Remember when I did the countdown? I said, all right, we're gonna count from here. 2 months later, I did another show. I forgot how long I did it. I said longest 2 weeks ever, something to that effect. Remember? In other words, they never contacted Bill. And I said, y'all were quick to call Bill a liar. And I said, this is the guy that called him on the phone. Peter Khan. Interesting last name, right? Khan. Yeah, Jose, it was call you in 2 weeks. The call never came. And I went to BoxRec, and Peter Khan is on BoxRec. And I wasn't trying to dox him. And I said, look, some answers because y'all are confused. I'm not. I know what happened. Why don't you send him an email and ask him what happened with the situation between him and Bill Haney in reference to the fight between Devon and Subriel Matias. And then ask him, does he work with them? Because Team Matias said, we don't work with that guy. Why is he speaking on our behalf? That's a good question, Stormy. Ask Tank Fanatics when's the last time he fought a mandatory. There's your answer. It's right there underneath your comment, Sensei. I said here, that's Peter Khan's place of business. That's his email. That's I think the phone number's there. Call his place of business, and if you really care, like you say, just ask him. Because don't you want to prove to be correct? Don't you want to Jimmy? What up? Don't you want to prove that Bill is a liar and Drew is a liar and we're on his payroll and all kinds of weird shit that y'all say? Don't y'all want to prove to be right? Call Peter Khan. Shogun, what up? Call Peter Khan. Email him. Ask him respectfully. They didn't do it. You know why? You know why they didn't do it? Because they just don't want to say, hey, Drew, you was right, man. Hey, man, Bill was right, man. Bill was right. He pulled up on my show and broke that news. I was on the panel, of course. Stormy, Cali Enigma, and Tay Jones. And Bill just pulled up. He said, he texted me, he said, send me the link. I sent him a link. And he said, we looking to get that Subriel Matias smoke. And we went crazy. We was like, oh shit, the killer, yes. When did Tank Davis ever volunteer to fight a killer? Remember when Subriel Matias was his killer? He legitimately killed someone in the ring. Remember that? He legitimately killed someone in the ring. I said, no problem. So did Sergey Kovalev. Andre Ward gave 0 fucks, fought him twice. Kill someone in the ring? Man, I'm a killer. Watch this. He ain't killing nobody. Son of God. He handling his business. Devin said, Allahu Akbar. He a killer. Let's see who he gonna kill. Did we get a fight? No. Whose fault was that? I know y'all was trying to blame Devin for that. Look at that. Another 20 people dropped off. Look at that. Look at that. Too much truth here. It's Simian Saturday. I'm exposing this little yellow nigga. 8 weeks, please leave and stay gone. Still asking you motherfuckers, pull up and tell me when I've lied on this kid. I dare you. Come with your facts. Hen Dog, salute. Come with your facts. Mac of the South, my brother, salute. Tell me when I lied on this kid. I don't have to. Dapper Dan, salute. That's right. Time reveals all truth. And a lie, like Tank Davis, is nothing but the long way to the truth. Now he's about to pack it up, keep his word, saying he's done at 2025. There's no 7-fight deal worth more than anything Floyd signed. That PBC deal was bullshit. Like the Lamont Roach fight was supposed to be in Houston, that was bullshit. Don't bend the knee to Turkey, but you're going to bend the knee to Jake Paul. Jake Paul told you that I'm paying you, you're my bitch. Tank didn't even know that. There was no remark. He didn't say that he's a liar. Right? And now, insult to injury, he's going back and forth with Shakur saying, I'll never fight you. I'll never break bread with you. Aha, I'm not fighting you. You're not going to get paid by me. But you're going to break bread with Jake Paul? for no belt and someone who's virtually a heavyweight. So this Simian Saturday, I'm asking y'all, are these men on the left side of the screen helping Jake Paul prepare for Tank? Are they off code? The Black and Brown brothers, are they off code? I'll allow it. The answer is no. In my opinion, no. Who disagrees? Does anybody disagree? It's okay. Just let me know, because I'm going to ask why. Who disagrees? I say they're off code. I got pissed off when I found out that Boots was not only in Canelo's camp, but in my mind, I said, man, he ran out and got Boots. He really needs some cornbread fish and collard green in his goddamn camp, because he knows what he's up against. He can't spawn no flat-footed Mexicans to fight Bud. He needs some flavor in that camp. I get it, but damn, Boots, you shouldn't even be in there. And then we found out that Boots volunteered to go. And then he got the nerve to fire shots at the fight saying, I didn't watch it. Nigga, wait a minute. Boots, and this is just a sidebar. Boots, you're not going to tell me that you up and volunteered to go help Canelo beat your contemporary, and then you said you turned around and didn't watch the fight? Boots, I think you're lying, bro. Please, bro. I fucks with you, but I think you're lying. Now, if you just firing shots just to turn heads and piss off Bud, okay. But that's how I'm going to take it. You just trolling right now, bro. But you see this? We put these dudes on a pedestal based off of what they do. But see, that term pedestal, no. You got to put the pedestal to the side. And you got to watch them and say, you know, for you to get here, for you to stand up on here, I got to watch your work. You done fought Karen twice, and he fought two different Karens. Who remembers Mike Tyson's punch out? When you fought Don Flamenco, there was a pattern to beating him. Left, right, left, right, left, right, and you beat him. The second time you fight him in the game, you got to fight him different, right? That's why I laughed at that Karen fight, because I'm watching. I said, Karen didn't fight like this in the first fight. It's a different person. And Boots had some trouble. But never mind that shit. All right now, Boots. All right, you went over to Eddie Hearn. I didn't understand that. Now you ran your ass over to Canelo's camp. Come to find out, he didn't request you. You went over there. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. Okay. Okay. I'm watching you now, brother. I'm watching you now. And when it gets closer for me to give him some more attention, remember I said this. Eddie Hearn is lining him up to get his head knocked off by Chris Eubanks. Eddie Hearn is not your friend, Boots. You're going to find out. Just keep winning. But you're going to find out. He's getting lined up, bro. He's getting lined up. And I'm going to tell you why. If Eubanks beats Ben again, if he beats him again, the only comeback fight that makes sense will be him versus Ben. And Eddie Hearn will take Boots' ass over to have that fight in the UK and tell y'all it's worth more money over there because Boots in the power of Philadelphia is not as strong as what Conor Ben got going on in the UK. Remember I said that. And if that fight happens, Eddie Hearn is not your friend. Remember, he signed King Kong Ortiz to shelve him, to keep him away from Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn is a bad matchmaker. Because if he did a little more homework, he'd have known that the Andy Ruiz fight was a bad matchup. And you saw the results. Bullshit aside. With the drugging and everything in New York. But Boots goes over to goddamn Matchroom. I didn't understand that. Why didn't he go over to DHP? Is that unheard of? Oh, why would he go over there? Why would he go over there? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Bill knows how to promote. He promotes, and all you got to do is perform. Plus, don't think if Boots left no doubt that he was the best in his division, don't think that a Devon Haney fight would have been far off. You motherfuckers are so used to looking at these white men because y'all been conditioned. Go to Top Rank. Go to Queensberry. Go to Matchroom. And I say, yo, man, go to DHP. What? You niggas are well-trained, man. BVO, salute. Patrick, what up? DD Spencer, salute. You guys are well-trained, man. Royal Constrictor, salute. Well-trained. And all I'll say is, man, look what Bill has done with his son. Why wouldn't he be able to do that with a guy like Boots, who's a superior talent? Boots is nice with it, right? Why would he go to the British promoter? Man, you guys just don't know what the fuck. Oh, my God, man. Oh, my God. Al Heyman is an advisor. And the PBC is on shaky legs. And the fact they kissed the ring to Saudi. That's the real reason why Tank is leaving. That's the real reason why his dumb ass is on Twitter telling Shakur, I'm not going to make no money with you. I'm not going to allow you to make money with me. How you going to say, how you going to clown someone by saying, yo, I'm not fighting you? And you know what this dumb nigga said? I got the best of him in sparring. Why is he always talking about sparring? Watch this. Riddick Bowe got beat up in the Olympics by Lennox Lewis. When both of those men were pros, there was belts on the line and everything else in a revenge story. UK versus America. And what did Riddick do? He got on international TV and threw the goddamn belt in the trash. I remember that. That was breaking news out here. I was like, what is he doing? He regrets it. There's an interview on YouTube. It's a few years old. He's sitting down. It's Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, mumbling all over the place, and Evander Holyfield. And I think Shannon Briggs was there. And that came up. And Riddick is mumbling through words. God bless him. He's like, yeah, you know, that's why I threw the belt in the garbage or whatever. And Evander said, nah, man, you were supposed to fight him, man. I understand business or whatever, but, you know, sometimes, man, you got to bite the bullet. And you got to do what makes sense. Because now we never know what would have happened if they fought on a professional level. But people could say, hey, man, it don't matter what we think. Riddick knew. That's why he didn't do it. Riddick knew that Lennox would have kicked his ass. And that's an argument. Because I've never seen a fighter not take a fight that he knew he couldn't win. I mean, that he knew he could win. Or I could beat him, but I'm just not going to do it. And that's how you fucking Tank fans sound. Oh, he could beat everybody. And all I'm saying is, all right, good, let's see it. Well, Tank ain't got to do this. What do you mean? All right, so what do you want him to do? Knock Mario Barrios into a somersault? He did that. Can he fight Devon now, please? Well, no. 140 is too big. Okay, he's going back to 135. Devon's still there. Shakur's there. Teofimo ain't leave yet. Can you give me something? Oh no, well this guy, sell those heats. He from the trenches. The braided hair, chrome hearts. You guys sound like homosexuals, bro. You don't want him to get his face tuned up. He's a boxer, isn't he? He already got his ass kicked in sparring. Elijah Pierce whooped his ass in sparring. Devon Haney whooped his ass in sparring. What, you gonna tell me he whooped Shakur in sparring? All right, cool. Whoop it again and take his belt, become unified. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Y'all protecting this kid because y'all are attracted to him. I want to see these dudes fight because he said he a fighter. I am beyond talking about what Shakur did and didn't do and his accolades, and I'm beyond that. You told me Tank is the best. Excuse me. You told me Tank is the best. All I said is prove it. And I hear more excuses for you knuckle draggers for him not doing something. Tank Davis fans have ran away with the crown. I don't think there'll be a more worse fan base in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't even consider Jake Paul fans because those fanatics make sense. Because Jake is an entertainer. But even Jake has contributed more to the sport of boxing than Tank has. Tank is a glorified marketing scheme. And now, I'm going to tell you what else I feel now. Watch this. You remember back like 6 years ago when all of those contemporaries running around 135 and Tank wasn't fighting them? And what did everyone do? Man, it's Floyd. Man, that's letting Ella be. That's his fault. Tank with all the smoke, but they don't. Now, I know it's Tank. It wasn't them. It was Tank. Tank ain't want that smoke. It was him. It was him. Coach Cal on Marco's Live, when he asked about Shakur, he says, why would we want that fight? He's not going to stand there and let us do what we do. Y'all remember that? On that same show. It might have been a different day, but on Marco's program, he's asked. Devon Haney, he said, yeah, but at what weight though? Huh? Turned right around and went to 140 and caught a knockout. But then they said, oh, well, 140 is too big. I'm going to go back to 135. Ah, yeah. But he also said he's not beyond the thought of going back up to 140. Remember that? But forget that. Now he's fighting a big-ass Jake Paul, and his fans are saying, I'm cool with this fight. Why? Because Jake's not a real fighter. Okay. Y'all keep telling yourself that. He might not be as polished as a lot of these other guys that are ranked. But he's still bigger than you. And y'all look, I can't believe y'all are cool with this. Instead of him collecting the heads of his contemporaries, I would much rather look at Tank Davis' resume when he retires saying, okay, yeah, there goes Shakur, there go Devon, there go Teofimo, and a couple of guys in between he tried to fight, but it ain't work out, But at least they're there. Remember when I said Teofimo Lopez has a better resume than Tank Davis? Well, just look at it. Tank don't even want to fight Sandor Martin or something, right? Ain't he a mark? You don't think Tank Davis could have swooped in and took that George Kambosos fight from Teofimo, from Devon Haney? Watch this. George Kambosos beats Teofimo, becomes unified, right? And picks up that franchise status, right? You know the franchise status that at first Mauricio Simian says, no, once you have it for life. We vote for it. We vote on it. You ask for it. We vote on it. And, we give it to you. And let me digress on that for a minute. Because I failed to mention this. I didn't complete my point. Mauricio Simian said it has to be requested and then voted on, and we vote yay or nay. Lomachenko said they gave it to him, and he accepted it. Mauricio Sulaimán said, no, it has to be requested. My thing, Lomachenko, is if it was given to you and Sulaimán is lying, you didn't have to accept it, and you did. You didn't want to fight Devon at that time. So it's a duck. And if he requested it instead of fighting Devon, Mauricio Sulaimán should have been out loud about it. He does not want to fight Devon Haney. He requested a franchise, new concept, and we oblige him. So now Devon Haney is now the WBC champion because Lomachenko refused to fight him. That's all you had to say. Instead, you say nothing. And Devon's called the email champion. Well, that term email champion that was invented specifically for Devon Haney now applies to everyone that gets the belt that they didn't fight for. The WBA strap that Tank Davis has right now is Devon Haney's old belt. They did not fight for it. So he's a fucking email champion. Tank fans that are dick watching. Am I lying? Got something to say? All right, cool. Cool. I ain't got to lie. That's what happened. We was all here for it. You can't bend or twist shit over here, bro. It's not going to work out for you. It's not. Tank beats everybody, but ain't got to fight everybody. And the cats he do fight, he needs an unfair advantage, like weight and rehydration clauses. Then played himself with the Lamont Roach shit, and surprise, surprise, Lamont Roach came up from 130, made weight, and rehydrated. And when during the stare down in the ring, I looked and I said, yo, that nigga big. Lamont was like probably 150 pounds on fight night. So by round 5, the round that I picked Tank to knock Roach out in, I said, oh, you know why this is not happening? Because he's properly hydrated. He didn't run, and he fought Tank in the pocket, and he hurt Tank, wobbled him, made him take a knee, fucked around and was supposed to get DQ'd, fought to a draw, and I said, bet, let's see what happens next. Not the rematch, Jake Paul. And y'all want me to celebrate this kid? Now, did I just lie? Is that not the events of how things happen? Am I lying? So let's get back to the topic. Are these guys off code for being brought into Jake Paul's camp to help him prepare for Tank? The answer is no. I'll allow it. You know why? Because Tank don't know what the fuck code is. He don't know what the fuck code is business-wise, and he don't know what code is black-wise. Because these niggas love to, why are you hating on the black man? Man, go to Tank and say, yo, you a black man. Matter of fact, go and see if you can even talk to Tank. You already know how he treat motherfuckers that support him, right? You already seen it. Uh-oh. Go! So approach Mellow Yellow at your own risk. Approach Mellow Yellow at your own risk. He already told you he don't like you. He already told you that. He already told you that. He don't fuck with you. He don't want to talk to you. You could go up to him and be like, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. He gonna call you soft. Am I lying? Yo, man, when y'all see me, don't say nothing to me. I don't fuck with y'all. Did he not say that? That's what he said. The funniest shit was the conversation he had with J. Leon Love. That was hilarious. Yeah, look at you. Look at you. He was like, wait, what's the animosity, champ? Yeah, you went from training world-class fighters to training a YouTuber. Oh, what, the YouTuber you're about to fight? Go! Bang. This is your guy? How you ripping J. Leon Love for training Jake Paul and saying, yo, man, you training a YouTuber. And you about to fight that YouTuber. That YouTuber's actually about to pay you. Frida's March salute. He's about to pay you. That's what I'm saying. Tank is slow. He's an idiot. Yeah. Stay on your side. Yeah, cool. Now watch this. You Tank fans, y'all think he's right about J. Leon Love? If you're a Tank fan and you just watching this for the first time and you mad at what I'm saying, I'll allow you to type. I ain't gonna block you. Just please be respectful. I don't feel like dealing with no bullshit this morning. Be respectful. If you don't agree with nothing I say, if you don't agree with anything I say, address what I just said. Do you agree with Tank with what he said to J. Leon Love in reference to him going from training world-class fighters to training a YouTuber? Do you agree with that? Anybody? Yeah, Julio, they lied on themselves. And I know they're listening right now. Does anybody agree with what Tank said to J. Leon Love? Anybody? You can say something. No one's going to block you. Wrenches, don't block anybody. Don't block any unfamiliars. If you disagree with what I just said, because I disagree, and I'm going to explain it. Does anybody agree with what Tank said, the whole dialogue that he had with J. Leon Love? Does anybody agree with Tank? They're scared to type. That's okay. Well, here's my question to you. I'm going to answer your question with a question. Why y'all hating on the black man getting his money? Go! Well, because isn't that what y'all told us all the time? Didn't I have that ignorant nigga with the nappy beard with his mama, his fat, greasy mother talking in the background? Why y'all hating on the black man getting money? Huh? What do you mean? He can make the same amount of money fighting any one of his contemporaries. He don't need to be in here risking his life fighting Jake Paul, because this is a risk of his life. But what the fuck you mean we hating on him getting money? But never mind that. So you don't hate on black men getting their money, right? So why is Tank hating on J. Leon Love for working with a successful YouTuber and getting his money? You see how that works? You Tank fans are the worst fan base I've ever seen. And I've gone through the motions on YouTube. I thought Pac-Tards were bad. But Pac-Tards made sense because a majority of them were Filipino and they were just standing in the pocket for Manny Pacquiao. Flow-mos were bad. Flow-mos is what I call Tankaholics light, because they were retarded too. So you had the Pac-Tards, you had the Flow-mos. You had the AJ fans, but they made sense. They were of all races, cultures, and creeds, but a lot of them were from the UK, and a few dick blowers from America who've since vanished. West Philly, salute. They since vanished. So that kind of made sense between them just standing in the pocket for their UK brother and the other part of them being gay or both. But they're gone. They're gone. Right? The Ryan Garcia fans, young girls and grown-ass gay men. So that kind of made sense. This Tank shit, I tried really, really hard to try and figure this out. And the only thing I could come up with is the lack of education of the sport of boxing, the excessive man crush because of how this kid looks.
Man crush.
And you know what? Pretty much that's it. Homosexuality and it's homosexuality and the lack of boxing knowledge. Sending a link right now for you, Sensei. Y'all in trouble now. Stormy about to come up here. Sent. My whole point with Tank is that he's a glorified marketing scheme. What you see is all smoke and mirrors. And I've had my beef with Shakur, but you know what's crazy? I never said none of these guys can't fight. You notice that? The reason why I say what I say is because I hold them to a standard. And right now, as of right now, Shakur's getting busy now, ain't he not? He's become more vocal. And let me tell you how fair I am. The Zepeda fight, right? Y'all remember what I said? Y'all remember what I said about Shakur? And I've had my beef with Shakur. But y'all remember what I said about him? I said, okay, you fought. You showed that you're a dog. But y'all remember what I said in my post-fight? I said, great, you showed you a dog and you could counter punch and all that other shit. And I said, kid, don't you ever fight like that ever again. I never called Shakur boring. When Shakur fights, it's a work of art. It is his opponent's responsibility to get him to stop moving around the ring. Did I not say that? I said that. I said, great, you fought in the pocket. You took a little more punches than you normally do. But don't you ever do that again. Did I not say that? Always fight your fight. Tito says, bro say he made up a character, but he about to fight one. Oh, man. Remember when I said that about Shakur? Now, you know, I had my beef with Shakur. You know, I ain't like the fact that I felt he undermined his black fan base. And I thought, you know, he started waving the Puerto Rican flag. All I said was he should have been waving that flag in the Olympics. It seems like being he was a Top Rank, and Top Rank has a problem promoting black fighters. He wants to try and capture the Latino audience. And that was a money play for me. Man, let your shit develop organically. And I had a problem with him playing a race card. And I said, man, the Boricua should be annoyed with that. Don't try and come to us and hijack us. You wasn't claiming us in the Olympics. You don't speak Espanol. What you trying to do? And that was my beef with Shakur. I said, that's a play right there. Chill. And why you undermining the black fans that you have now? We got enough lost niggas running around here. Like Tank. He's not a Muslim brother. He's not a black brother. He's about his pockets. How dare he say that shit to Jay Leon Love? How dare he say that? And it was so crazy because I'm like, wait a minute, does he understand what he said? And he doesn't. He does not understand what he just said. Wait a minute. You went from training world-class fighters to YouTubers. Yeah, and the YouTuber I trained, you're about to fight, and the YouTuber, not pro fighter, the YouTuber is about to pay you. He's gonna sign your check. I want him to post a check. You remember how Floyd used to post his checks? And that was the ultimate flex. I used to piss people off. I want Tank to post a check. You know why? His fans kept telling me he's gonna make $100 million. Look, I don't care if he do. I don't care if he do or don't. You know what I want to see? I want to see who signed it. If that check says MVP on the bottom, that tells you everything you need to know about this fucking idiot. Sensei, good morning, brother.
Yo, good morning, man. Good Saturday morning, Grand Rising. What's happening?
Yes, sir. I didn't know I was gonna do this, but you know how you get up out of bed, you just feel motivated to do something.
Yeah, I've done that. So
Yeah,
I totally
excellent. Yeah.
understand. I was actually surprised when I got up and I was like, oh, yeah, we got some stuff going down.
Yes,
so
sir.
I kind of been in and out of the chat because I was getting myself ready and stuff just to, start my day. And I said, man, I wouldn't mind. I didn't mean to crash the chat with the request because I sent you a text. And
Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. My phone all the way, my bad. My phone all the way over here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead and cook.
No, it's just that the subject is it's right, man, because I did a show last night when I was talking about the fourth quarter of the year in boxing and how we're going out on we're going out. The sport is ascending, and you've got elements operating within the sport that's still trying to distract, pull the sport off road, off track, but that's not going to work. And it's because I told you, just like in the NFL, when you have a good running back, and he's got a good contract, you paying him well, and he's getting you over 1,000+ yards a season and this and that. But every year, the draft has new players that could come along, and you may have an opportunity that could draft someone that you could bring in for a lesser salary, and you could trade this other guy that you have that has value and has accomplished, but it's like you could save against the salary cap and all of that, right? So people do, and then you find out that the new guy you brought in might be a more versatile player than the guy you got rid of. Right, and at least for the first couple of years, you got him at a cheaper rate. You know what I'm saying? So it's like boxing is a lot like that. And we've had guys who have been placeholders in the sport because they've been able to attract the fan base and the audience of boxing to fall under that umbrella of like what appears to be good for you. And then you have other elements that have always been there, but because something comes with bells and whistles, you get distracted and pulled off track. See, this Tank Davis thing has done that to people. In the meantime, look at all the fighters around him who have been grinding, getting it done, some to a greater degree than others, but yet and still it's been happening. But because that place that he has held within the sport has caused so much of a distraction and a distraction and detraction, it's like it's hurt the others. But as long as they keep grinding, the element that he represents and he's presented, right, it shrinks. It makes him look worse and worse and worse. And the only repercussion and backlash out of that is the people who feel jaded, who feel like they've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. And so they'll lash out at some of us who've been telling them this the whole time. Like you were saying earlier in this broadcast, that, you had certain people falling off after you said a couple of things, but those are the ones that I'm talking about. It's like, dude, if you profess to love the sport, why don't you want to see the sport at its best? If you profess to only love that individual that you want to support, that means that you have trauma bonded and attached yourself to something that is not necessarily a good thing, but it's something that you need to look within yourself and get some.
Oh, say that again, because I think that's over everyone's head. Trauma bonding and looking and seeing something in this kid that's false in itself. Yeah, say that again, please.
And need to get help. You need to have some. There's nothing wrong with saying I need assistance. I need help. You know what I mean? And by not having proper mentorship, not having proper teaching from the nest that you may be surrounded with or come from, there's still elements to learn better out here. Instead of operating with an effeminate approach to things, and I say effeminate because a lot of females are raising the boys. And that's not necessarily by force. Some of it is by choice. Some of it is by, you know, the elements of how our society manipulates the communities and things like that. That's not what the show is about. But I'm still saying, when you're able to identify that there's something wrong, and don't forget, this man, Tank Davis, has told you that he want to get help. He want to see somebody because he want to get certain things out of him. So when we say, well, you know what? Go ahead, leave the sport, bro, because you're helping to mess things up. And that's not getting against you. That's letting and identifying with you to say, okay, you got some issues, go get your issues addressed. The sport will pass you by, but at least you'll get the assistance that you really need. And maybe that's a great lead for some of the people who have attached themselves to you in that regard to take the same type of considerations in their own personal lives. Because if they didn't have the issues, they would understand this is a sport. This is something that you can tune into every few months or so when somebody's getting in that ring to mix it up and whatnot, and you get entertained by it. But it's not your life. And you need to know how to compartmentalize and separate what's important. Instead of coming at us, because we bring news, we bring critique, we bring points of view, but that doesn't make your life either. To be able to compartmentalize and to sit down and take instruction, take direction, take information in, it is important for you to understand that you have to, you know, be able to do those things.
Let me interject for a second. First of all, you're spot on, and I always say, when I see grown, well, you know, everyone, you know, we're a little older than everybody, but when I see kids, once you're in your 30s or whatever, and you could look at this kid and say that you identify with him, I always have a problem with that, because when is the negative going to stop being our story as Black people? That's number one. Number two, as an adult, as his peer, if you look at whatever his story is and you immerse yourself into loving this dude because of the negativity, you need therapy. All right. Now let me address Lawrence Williams. I don't know if you're a troll or not. He says Tank's problems are outside the ring. Nobody at 130 or 135 beats Tank. Gary Anton give Tank problems at 140. That's an empty statement, Mr. Williams. Do you know why? You want to know why that's an empty statement, Mr. Williams? It's an empty statement because he hasn't shown that. That's an empty statement.
Not only that,
empty statement.
Not only that, Drew, but at 135, Lamont Roach wasn't defeated by Tank.
Thank you. So, Mr. Lawrence Williams, I can tell you really don't know what you're talking about. You're an emotional person attached to this kid for whatever reasons. He's from the trenches, you know, you like the hero. I don't know what it is. You know, this is what you said. I told you, I was reading it. Tank is a truth. Can't believe y'all don't see this. Yeah. You know what the truth is? He's told the truth. And the truth is he don't want to do anything. The truth is he's going to keep his word and retire at the end of 2025. The truth is he lied about a 7-fight deal. The truth is he doesn't want to run it back with Lamont Roach. That's the truth. So he's been quite honest, actually. Yes, he's been quite honest. The truth is he had a bunch of contemporaries at 135 and he never bothered to unify or fight with them. And the truth is he told Shakur on the Twitter that he clowned him and said, I'll never fight you. You'll never make money off me, pretty much. And Shakur said, well, I'm trying to be great. F you, you go ahead, I'm done chasing you. How does it feel to know that Shakur Stevenson, who breaks his fucking hands in every goddamn fight, is chasing down this machine, this knockout machine? And never mind that, now you gotta wonder, how tough is Lamont Roach for him to stand in the pocket and go blow for blow with Tank Davis? And Tank Davis couldn't do anything. Was it the drug testing? Was it the VADA testing? Do I need to go there? And y'all please don't block anybody. Let them come in and just say what they need to say, because they prove our point. Insecure, immature, and mindless. You got to understand, at first, I wanted what was best for Tank. All he did was show me who he was. And he's a glorified marketing scheme, because you can tell me who he beats. The bottom line is, I'm looking at the resume. How could I believe what you say when I see what you do? Now, here's another lie. See, this kid doesn't know what he's talking about. Watch this. Maybe, look, read what he says. Maybe. See, right there, he doesn't know. Lawrence, let me educate you. I don't know how old you are. I'm gonna ask you how old you are. How old are you, young man? When you start off a sentence saying maybe, that means you don't know. Okay? He says maybe he is not in control of his decisions. Let's stop right there. Now, Stormy. Gone are the days where we assumed that he didn't fight his contemporaries because he was under the control of Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather. He hasn't been with them for a few years now. So now when he got away from them, all the Tank fans and the people who love boxing said, okay, great. So now the kid's going to do what he's going to do. And I held him to the standard saying, okay, now Tank is going to run out and he's going to get the Lomachenkos and get at the Devon Haneys and get at the Teofimo Lopez and everybody else of the world. Now we're going to see some boxing. He's in control of his own career right now. And he hasn't done anything. As a matter of fact, there's an interview where when he was still working with Leonard Ellerbe, and they said, well, you know, who makes the calls in reference to who he fights? And what did Leonard Ellerbe say? Tank's in charge. Tank's the boss. And that was when he was with them. And we was like, wait a minute. Okay, so is Tank the reason why we ain't got no Loma fight? So somebody's lying. So now that he's not with them, he's by himself. GTD, we get nothing. So let me further read what you said. Maybe he's not in control of his decisions, but look at what's done in the ring. Shakur says things when Tank got to fight. Nonsense. He wants to fight right now, and he's getting Jake Paul, and he's not even running it back with Lamont Roach, brother. And now the brother says, I'm 53 years old. I'm reading the house written. 53 years old. No need to know. Wait, I'm sorry. Old. No, I don't know. I'm reading what you said. No, I don't know. So if you don't know, you can't debate this because we do, brother. So now I'm going to talk, because right now you're saying you're 4 years older than me. So good. Now we can have an adult conversation. You've been very respectful.
Next question is, are you from Baltimore?
Are you from Baltimore? That was my next question. So 53 years old. No, I don't know. So you're answering. Okay. But Tank's proof is in his skill, and honestly, I don't know. I'm going off what I see in the ring. Well, what are you looking at?
Okay, hold. Let me chime in now.
Go ahead.
Because of that last part of that comment. You're going off of what you see in the ring. Well, listen, Mr. Williams, your sight is short, and I'm going to point out why. What we've seen in the ring from Tank Davis has been extremely limited and controlled. That has been beyond his control, because the people who have guided his career have put him in against a particular type of opposition where he was made to look better against them, because that's how he can be highlighted. If you put a plodding, slow-footed, lack of athleticism fighter in front of Deontay Wilder, he will knock him out like a bowling pin 100 times out of 100 times. If you put a more skilled fighter in there that's got to move around and give him defensive looks and things of that, the fight will be more difficult. Tank Davis has been fighting in 30 fights a lot of fighters who fit a certain criteria, and that is to accentuate what he can do well. But he has never been in there with a master boxer who can think, who can also apply the skill of the trade and be able to test Tank psychologically and to test his overall fighting ability, because he would have to make adjustments.
Well, he did. Lamont Roach brought that out of him, and we saw him fold.
But see, Lamont Roach still happens to be a fighter that falls within the criteria of how, you know, the fighters that Tank has been fighting. But see, this goes to, and I'm glad we're having this part of the conversation. This goes to what I had told Junior the Truth the week leading up to the fight with Tank and Lamont. He had did a show, and he was going to do call-in that day too, and he had posed a question to the chat, because everybody was talking about Roach was going to get destroyed by Tank. And he posed a question to his chat. He said, does anybody in here think that Lamont Roach has a chance, or give Lamont Roach a chance? And I wrote in his chat in capital letters, yes. And then he said, because a lot of people don't think that Lamont Roach can. And I said, let me call in and explain why Roach is going to give Tank a fight. To condense what was discussed that day, I had told Junior, I said, Lamont Roach is a fighter that I have watched make a transition. His previous fight before fighting Tank was on Pro Box TV. He had a title defense there. That fight, that title he had at 130, he was looking very solid. In other words, when he lost to Jamel Herring, it was a fight where when he was competing against Herring, he had done some things very good, and he had an advantage over Herring at one point when he kind of shook him up or whatever, but he didn't go for it. Herring comes back and wins the decision unanimously. He was very dejected after the fight because he realized he was at the level where he was supposed to be, and he didn't do what he was supposed to do. In other words, you remember when I talked about when Regis Prograis had to go over to the UK to fight Josh Taylor for Undisputed in that tournament. And I said, if Regis don't come outside of himself the way he normally fights and look to take it to another level and go for it, he's not going to get a decision. He's not going to win that fight. And that's exactly what happened. He looked like the winner. Josh Taylor looked the worse for wear with that bad eye and everything. But see, when it comes a time in a fight where you have to assert yourself, especially when you're not in familiar grounds and territory, especially when judges can also give the other guy favor because you're in his backyard or something like that, you have to do things to catch the attention. Did Bud Crawford not take moments late in the fight against Canelo and go after him?
Yes, he did.
And start throwing combinations and standing in there with him, gritting his teeth, fighting back. Yes, and guess what? That was enough to get him the decision. Even though they still wanted to give it to Canelo, they had to give him those scores late in the fight. And that's what made the difference in him being successful. So when Roach had the fight with Herring, he came back, changed some things, got another title. And then this time, when he had a chance against Tank, he fought Tank this time. And he fought him evenly, on par. Tank is the one that took the knee. Tank is the one that went over to the corner and could have been disqualified because things had got hot. Tank was the one who bit Roach in when they were in close because he was having a psychological breakdown because things were not going his way. So, Mr. Williams, I charge you with having less a view of what you think you're observing when you're watching the sport of boxing, because when you watch the sport of boxing, it's more than just a man punching another man. It's a psychological thing going on there. There's a spiritual thing going on there. There's a physical thing going on there. And there's a thing called fortitude that always comes to the forefront when you're seeing the best of the fighters. And some guys only have a certain level of that. And some guys, the ceiling hasn't even been touched yet. So this is why I say what I say. And I don't say this being mean-spirited. I'm explaining it to you, and I'm trying to articulate it in the best manner that I can to help you understand that you haven't seen the best of Tank Davis because he has not been challenged enough for you to either be able to see the best of him or find out that there is no next level with him.
That's well said. And this is what I'm saying, Mr. Williams. You see, I want you to understand, I don't know if you're new here. The reason why I asked your age, brother, is because I need to know who I'm talking to, you know, because I have to, you know, address things a certain way. And there's certain things I don't tolerate. And like I said, you've been very respectful. You know what I mean? We ain't got to get into the, you know, the screaming and hollering and cussing and stuff. We're men here. You know what I mean? And with this comment right here, you know, you said, what do you think about what Tim Bradley says, that Tank is training for Roach? Tank is obviously in need of money and see this as an opportunity. Well, my whole thing is, I don't know if you just now finding me. My whole thing is, look, I'm not hating on anybody getting their money. My thing is this: I love the sport. Get your money and get out the way so I can watch some real fighters get some things done and do things that are special. What Tank doing right now with Jake Paul is not special. It's a clown show. So get your clown money and go away, because he said he's going away. Get out the way. Now I want to see Lamont Roach versus Shakur, since Tank don't want to do it. The problem is they put Tank on his pedestal and he hasn't done shit. Now let me address this gentleman right here. He says, Sin Ironheart says that I don't see why y'all so upset about this fight. Jake Paul damn near made me dangerous. I'm reading the house written. Made me dangerous than all the people y'all petitioning him to fight. Jesus Christ. Okay, Sin Ironheart. I'm gonna ask you the same question, fella. How old are you? Please be honest. Respect, Lawrence. Respect. Sin Ironheart, how old are you? So I know how to answer this question. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and answer it. How you take what I'm gonna say is how you're gonna take it. The reason why I'm upset about this fight is because, number one, it's dangerous for Tank. And this is coming from a guy that I don't respect Tank as a black man. I don't respect him because I know a lot of Muslims. I don't respect him as a Muslim. He's a fraud. As a black man, he's a fraud. He's just not a good person. Not to the people around him, not to his fans. He calls them soft. He tells them, don't step to me if you see me. From the grown people who respect him to the kid that might want to come up to him and ask for an autograph and take a picture with him. He don't want y'all near him. So the kid has some sort of psychological problems. Okay, so this fight is dangerous for Tank. Apollo versus Drago type of danger. And y'all might not think so. But there's something here. You know, Jake is a troll. He could look to make a statement. And if he steps over this black body, his blood is on your hands. And I hope it don't happen. So there's an element of danger. That's why I'm upset about this fight. And I'm also upset because Tank has a list of contemporaries in or around his division. And not only is he not challenging himself, but he's now making fun of his contemporaries not being able to make money with him. Boxing is a competitive sport, but it's also a fraternity. You're supposed to help your fellow boxer eat. Any fight could be your last fight. So if it's your last fight, wouldn't it be better if the guy you helped, your quote unquote brother in arms, earned $5 million, $10 million or whatever? He got on here and clowned Shakur. You won't be able to make money on me. No, it's more like, I'm making money because I'm with Turkey Al Sheikh now. I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna have a better legacy than you. And you shooting yourself in the foot, because when they have the Hall of Fame conversations, they're gonna have to look at your resume. They're gonna have to try really hard to put you in there. But he won't be in there over the guys that have accomplished any things. Watch this. Do you know that George Kambosos can say he has better accomplishments than Tank Davis at this point? And he became unified on Tank Davis's watch. Do you know he can say that? Do you know that? So when you say you don't see why I'm upset. How about because I love the sport that don't love me back? This is for the sport. I don't care about these guys. You will never find a live stream or a short video on my channel where I'm talking about someone's money. I've mentioned it because y'all mentioned it, but that's not my focus. Now, to the other part of your statement, Sin Ironheart, you said Jake Paul damn near more dangerous. That's what you meant to say. Than all of the people y'all petitioning him to fight. Yes, he is dangerous. He don't have to do this. But the danger I'm talking about is that Tank will, Jesus Christ.
The danger that exists with this opportunity that Tank has decided to take is far different from anything that he would have incurred fighting his contemporaries or even taking up the offer with Turki Al-Sheikh, because what will happen in this regard is that Tank is on an island. He didn't even know that Jake Paul is paying him.
Yep, that's
you
bad.
Understand the confusion has all. Listen, the contracts are signed already. You have to even understand why was Paul and MVP fighting so hard to get this fight on when there were several original territories that didn't want to host this event. That means that they knew something. The fact that they finally are in a place that's going to accept it, that's a region that doesn't have the same long lineage of experience of hosting fights and bouts. This is not a good thing for Tank Davis. This is a good thing for Jake Paul. And see, when Turkey offered him to come over to a Saudi event and fight Devon Haney and was going to offer him more money than he had ever had before, more money than Jake Paul could dream of offering, Tank's fear of competitive natured fighters was, oh, that's his boy. He's over there and I will have to knock him out to win and all of that. He made an excuse as to why not to go through with it. But the conditions for him were better than what he has right in front of him now with this event. The only thing that could have come of the event with taking on someone like Devon Haney in that type of climate would have been like if he wasn't good enough to beat Devon Haney. That is the exposure there. So you run away from the challenge that really sits before you, where you would have been compensated economically in the most appropriate way. Because we have seen in all of the Saudi events, none of the fighters have ever complained about their finances coming out of those events. And some have even win, lose, or draw, have stepped up to say, hey, Turkey, when do you want me back? You understand?
That's right.
This situation, Tank is on an island. And if he happens to get embarrassed, he's going to retire. If he happens to lose badly, he's going to retire. And the thing is, he's put it all on the line for a situation that is a so-called exhibition. But what is on exhibit here? You have to question that. His integrity, his overall accomplishments of where he is in the sport, and the legacy that he leaves at the end of the day will be incomplete and of non-consideration. And for those of you who don't want the best for this man, you say nothing, right? But for those of you who are supporting this blindly, you are doing more damage than you could ever dream. And when it's all said and done, it's going to come back to you guys. Because real people can recognize real circumstances. This is not Never Never Land. This is the really real world. And the first moment that he got a chance to really be disrespectful to Tank Davis, and he did at that very first press conference, you guys said nothing.
You didn't say
You
nothing.
said nothing. That shows me the lack of education, the lack of aptitude, the lack of real awareness that you have. You should have been burning the damn internet airwaves up for Jake Paul, and you didn't do that. So you really don't love Tank Davis, and you don't love yourself, and you don't love melanated people. Get the fuck out of here.
They showing Jake Paul more respect than people that are actually doing things like Shakur, like Devon. You know what I'm saying? Lawrence said Tank knocks out George Kambosos. I think so, but why did he intervene and try and do it? He could have did it. You think George Kambosos would have, let me see, Tank Davis or Devon Haney? He's going to go with the money. That wasn't even, Tank didn't even intervene in that. Tiafimo, I mean, there's a whole lot of things going on there. Lawrence also says Tank didn't mess up the game like this. I'm not pointing a finger here, but what I'm saying is he's contributing because y'all say he's the face of boxing. So all eyes are on him. He's contributing to messing up the game. So we could debate. Well, you know, it's not a debate because I don't care who messed up the game. He's continuing to mess up the game with this behavior. So when the conversation comes about Hall of Fame talk, what do y'all gonna be left to talk about? Oh, he fought Jake Paul and he made all this money. But he ain't fight Shakur. But he made money with Jake Paul. But he ain't fight Devon. Well, he made money with Jake Paul. But he ain't fight Kambosos. He ain't fight Tiafimo. He ain't fight Super Matias. He made this money. He from the trenches. It's like, bro, come on, man. Is he a boss? Or did Leonard Ellaby and Floyd Mayweather? And Lawrence, you might have just pulled up before I said this. You're asking how much control do you think Tank really had throughout his career? We used to think that he wasn't taking those fights, those 50-50 fights, because of Floyd and Leonard Ellaby. Well, he's gotten away from them, and he still hasn't fought his contemporaries. So that gives me reasonable cause to believe that he's been in control the whole time. And now he's fighting Jake Paul in a fight that he clearly doesn't need to take. And there's a high element of danger there. And plus, I firmly believe that Jake Paul's going to try and make a statement with him. He was going to try and make this little kid into a highlight reel. Whether he's successful about it, I don't know. But y'all better hope not. Y'all better hope not, because I really don't want to be on here saying, yo, look, this kid might be hurt. I told y'all. But celebrate the fact that he made like 40, 50 million, though. Where he could have made that fight in Shakur. He could have made that fight in Devon or Tiafimo. The money was there in Saudi, but the element of danger wasn't as great as it is with Jake Paul. He could really get hurt in this fight. And y'all are sitting here justifying this crap. This is not boxing. It's a freak show. So much of a freak show that Georgia didn't want anything to do with it. Now Miami is footing the bill because they want to make money off of Tank and Jake. And Jake is taking his portion of money and signing. He's going to sign his check. And this kid don't even know who's signing his checks. And what I'm saying is Tank could be the biggest tragedy in boxing with this fight. All money ain't good money. What happens when he gets his check, but he can't cash it because now he's a vegetable? This is dangerous. We've had deaths in the ring. Mike McCallum happened. This is crazy, and it doesn't need to happen. I'm a supporter of the sport. If Jake Paul wants to participate in the sport for real, he can go fight a cruiserweight or a heavyweight. This is a money grab. We know what this is, but there's an element of danger, and everyone needs a black villain. And what better black villain to walk over with a white face but Tank Davis? This is what I'm talking about. And all y'all telling me is about money. You guys are acting like prostitutes, man. And y'all not even getting paid. Y'all are justifying this circus act. And Tank's acting like a little hoe. Instead of being a boss and saying, yo, look, I'm taking control of my career and I'm wiping out all my contemporaries, Gary Anton, Keyshawn Davis, Devon Haney, and because I'm that guy. No. He's saying I'm not like other fighters. I'm trying to get my money. Don't come near me. You soft. And all this other ridiculous shit, and y'all still justify this shit? Y'all better hope this kid don't get hurt. And I'm telling you something else. Ain't gonna be no draw like Mike Tyson. Jake's gonna try and win. And if Tank loses, it's not gonna go on his record officially, but he's gonna lose. So he can get hurt, and if he don't get hurt, he's still gonna lose. What are y'all gonna say? Thanks for all your service, Tank. At least you got your money. And that's why I say, if he indeed keeps his word and leaves, y'all need to go with him. Go with him. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. I don't want to hear it. There's nothing y'all could do to defend this circus show. Delano says, what does Tank have to do to beat? Okay, let's highlight it. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I did blink. Let me read it slow. So what does Tank has to beat to gain any respect? If the fighter you all said he should fight had moved on. It's fighters, plural, brother, plural. Tank is the A side in all directions. All he had to do was ring the alarm and fight his contemporaries. You want to say Devon Haney. The reason why Devon moved on is because Tank didn't want to fight him. And just as of last night, Delano, Tank clowned Shakur, saying, I'm not going to fight you. You're not going to make no bread off of me. And they went back and forth, and Shakur said, man, you don't want this. You don't want legacy, nothing like that. You go ahead and do your own thing. And then Tank disabled his Twitter account. Mr. Tweet and Delete. He disabled the Twitter account. So when you're asking me, so what does Tank has to do to gain any respect? He lost it because there was nothing but space and opportunity to do something, and he's giving you Jake Paul. I'm going to say the same thing that asshole on Boxing News 24 wrote. Y'all remember when I did that live like almost a year ago now? This is what Devon has to do to become to reach a superstar status. He has to fight Tank Davis. I said, okay. He has to fight Shakur. I said, okay. He has to fight Boots. I said, Boots is fighting at 140, right? Huh? Devon at the time was at 135. And then David Benavidez was on that list. David Benavidez. I said, wait a minute. They got fucking Devon in the ring with 140 pounders and Bud was on the list. I said, wait a minute. Wait. What are you talking? What is this? Who the fuck wrote this? That's what Devon got to do to get any respect. Devon has done everything. And y'all don't give him any respect. Tank hasn't done anything that Devon has done. And y'all giving him a lot of respect. And he hasn't done anything. And he's about to fight this clown fight, and y'all are giving him a pass, and he's telling y'all, fuck you, I'm going home. I'm done. 2025, I'm done. After this fight, I'm done. In 8 weeks, I'm retired. And y'all cool with that. Delano says, let's move to Roach, the Destroyer. Let's pump him up. Why? Y'all cut him down. He's not fighting him. Roach is about to fight Isak Cruz. Roach is getting busy. Roach moved on because he kept telling y'all. When Roach was saying, sign a contract, let's run back the rematch, what was Tank's response? I know where your kids go to school. I know where your address is. Okay, yeah. Is that a yes or no? Are we fighting or what are we doing? Because you're not a gangster, Tank. The dudes you around are gangsters. They were gangsters. You're not a gangster. I don't know what all that talk is about, but what does where his kids go to school at? And Lamont Roach's address, what does that have to do with anything? You see what I'm saying about this kid? So when you ask me, what does he have to do to get my respect? Oh my God, the list is very long. How about stop waving the Islamic banner? What happened to Abdul Wahid? Do that. How about fight your contemporaries? Do that. How about stop disrespecting the people that actually fucks with you? Do that. This kid is an awful person. I need y'all to understand that. He's an awful person. Inside the ring and out, he's an awful person. He's awful. So since this fight's happening, get your money, like everyone is celebrating, and get the fuck out the way and take all your fans with you. Because bottom line, when he retires, these Tank fans ain't gonna be in my chat. You know why? Because I'll be talking about things like people doing anything, like people doing things, Boots doing things, Devon doing things, Gary Anton doing things. I'll be talking about fighters that are doing things. Stormy talks fighters that are doing things all the time. Are y'all there? No. Stormy talks boxing. Are y'all there? No. But some of you, I put Tank Davis in my title, and everybody, even unidentifies, let me see what this hater's saying. No, I love the sport. And this kid, Mellow Yellow, is not doing right by the sport. So get your money and get out the way. Get your money and get out the way. That's all. Get out the way. What I'm saying is not unreasonable. Get your money, get out the way. Don't try and word salad me. Oh, why you hating on the black man? First of all, don't take that route with me. Because Tank's not a black man. He's the worst kind of nigga. He's not a black man, he's a nigga. That's what he is. Why are you calling him that? Have you been following what the fuck he's been doing? Have you not seen what he just did?
And that's what Jake Paul has been fighting, by the way.
Lawrence says now Devon Haney. Oh shit, yeah, let's hit that.
Whoa! What the
Devon says now Devon Haney stays busy. Shakur is captain though. He popular by association. Look, you don't have to break the Devon Haney glass. You don't have to break the Shakur glass. What I know is that those two men wanted to fight him and Tank. The A side declined. But he's giving you fans Jake Paul. Never forget this. This was the icing on the cake. Tank Davis fanatics, y'all have no argument anymore. It's over. And I'm cool with it. You should be cool with it. Y'all tried to play the black card. Oh, why y'all hating on the black man? When we said, yo, fight this guy. Oh, well, he don't have to because he don't. Oh, well, fight this guy. Oh, he don't have to because he don't. Oh, why they ain't fighting each other? Some of them have. But Tank's not even trying. That's what I'm saying. And then it's, why you hating on the black man getting money? Well, Tank is hating on black men getting money. He don't even want to break bread with someone that's going to give him an issue and make money off of him. That's not right, but you want to talk about black and white? No, okay, cool. You're not going to win that either. Tank is an asshole. So, asshole, make your money, asshole, and get the hell out the way. That's all I'm saying, because I'm trying to watch a sport here. You ever been watching TV and the baby get in front of the TV like, yo, move, I'm trying to watch TV. Go to your room. I'm trying to watch my show. I just need an hour to myself. Lawrence says, has Haney and Shakur fought? I'm glad you asked me that. I knew this was coming. I'm glad you asked me that. Lawrence, and don't help him. Don't say anything. Lawrence, why hasn't Haney and Shakur fought? Don't help him. Don't answer the question. Lawrence Williams, why hasn't Haney and Shakur fought? Because now what you're trying to do is you're trying to accuse everyone around 135 and 140, wherever Tank walked around at, for doing the same thing that he's doing. And that's not the case. Okay, you don't know. Okay, you just ask it. Okay, I'm going to tell you why they haven't fought.
No. Lawrence, go do some damn research. You're 53 years old.
Okay.
We're not taking baby steps here. you big enough to ask something that you think nobody knows or has background information on, humble yourself and recess and look back and say, well, this man has a channel. He's been doing content for a while. Maybe he can defer me to where I can get the information appropriately, because you're not going to sidetrack the show, sir. You're too damn old for foolish games, childish games. You said you were 53 years old, which is why I'm saying what I am. Go look into his archives. Look into his archives. This channel has been around for over 5 years or more. So you can do that for yourself. But when we're talking here, we're not talking out of our asses. We're talking with information that has been founded up to this degree. We don't know what the future holds, but we've been here for the long haul. See, this is the type of thing that insults my intelligence. When you guys try to come in here and say things, there is a history, which is why I broke it down to you earlier about you saying you know what you see when you watch Tank fight. You don't know a damn thing of what you see. See, I wasn't trying to go there, but you are trying to be insulting by coming at Drew the way you are. And we stand as a united front here. No games, bro. I'm not your bro. You can call me Stormy B-Man. You can call me the Sensei. You can call me some other words that I don't want to hear come out of you. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm always going to put it to you straight. I called you Mr. Williams, didn't I? I never called you bro. I don't know you. We're not familiar. There is a difference.
What you do is research, Lawrence. That's what you do. You can go to my channel and put in Shakur. I've held him accountable. When he's done stupid shit, I've held him accountable. And one of the things is the question you're asking. So if you don't know, just do the research. I challenge you to do the research. That's all. Just do the research. I don't talk about things that I don't know. And if there's something I don't know, I will ask the audience, am I wrong on this? Am I missing this? Educate me. I say it all the time. Educate me. If I don't know something, I say educate me. But there's a reason, but it's out there. But the reason why I'm so thorough with Tank Davis is because his fan base has put him on a pedestal, and it's undeserved. And he had nothing but space and opportunity to handle his business. And now he's pissed in the face of true supporters of the sport. He's even pissed in the face of his fans. And surprisingly, they've taken it because this kid to them could do no wrong. He called one nigga soft just the other day. And I got on my live and said, hey, man, that was fucked up. He shouldn't have said that to him. And instead of that nigga addressing Tank, magically, I became the villain. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You are now, and I'm not saying you in the chat, that dude and dudes like him, you are now the battered wife that comes to work with a swollen eye, and everybody at the job knows that she's getting her ass kicked. And they're like, yo, look, go away, get away from him before he kill you. Oh, no, you know, he loved me, though. It's ridiculous. These are Tank fans. This is the truth about this guy. They will defend this guy to the end. Well, in 8 weeks, apparently it's the end. Y'all better hope that the end is not him laying face down looking like Apollo Creed in Rocky IV. Because the potential of that is high. And I know it's real because when Coach Cal took that mic and started talking about glove size, and then Jake Paul was saying, hey, man, y'all sent me the email. You know, we already agreed to that. I said, oh, shit, nobody's on the same page. Oh, man, this is bad. And he says, I signed your check, little bitch. I signed your check. You work for me. You signed my check? You signed my check? That's real? That's real? Hey, with Florida, I was like, this nigga don't even know what. This has the recipe for disaster. And if y'all want him to go out like that, be my guest. I just want him to go away.
And the precursor to him going away, GTD Promotions is not a part of this. They're not even in partnership.
I said that earlier, right?
Not even on the MVP brand of this fight promotion. So that ought to tell you a hell of a lot. Because you could believe that DHP ain't going into any deals without that proper representation at the table. That's before anything gets signed.
Let me try and find that video. I know I have it saved. Let me see. I'm gonna find the video. Marco, when he was talking to Coach Cal, because a lot of people, they act like they didn't see that, and I watched it, and it was here. It is. Here it is. And it was cringe. It was cringe, y'all. And for those of you that didn't see it, I'm gonna play it for you. Share screen. This is after Shakur and Edwin De Los Santos. This is Marco. He's talking to Coach Cal. There he is right there. Now listen, y'all.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Right. To me, one of the most exciting fights in boxing would be T.O. versus Tank. You agree with that?
Yeah, because T.O. he will fight back. He ain't gonna do it. It's gonna be that would be a fight, and that would be a great fight. Yes, I will agree with that. Yes,
that'd be a great fight. That'd be a great. And T.O. has the power, the speed.
The fans will get what they want.
Right. Is there a specific guy who you'd want to fight?
No, I just look at this. Is what I look at. Contract. Mm-hmm. That's what we fighting back. Go get ready for him.
Okay, so you just get ready. You prepare for whatever's put in front of you.
That's just all you can do. What else you can do? You know, we don't be. I ain't at you calling people out because that's part of the business. Get what I'm saying? It's part of the business. Get what I'm saying? But once I see that paper, and that's who you fighting. It's not. It's more than business now. It's serious.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It and the business is dirty.
Yeah.
Real.
That's why I sit there and say that's part of that business. But when it comes to the actual fight, I'm preparing for the fight. I only care about the fight.
So I'm not totally sure when it comes to you and Coach Kenny. Does one of you handle certain areas more than the other, or how's that like split up?
Hold up, I gotta bring it back.
Well, Kenny been with me forever.
So you think somebody like Haney, for example, would be too on the outside, not engaging, that kind of thing?
I'm not even gonna talk about that neither.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Hold on, Drew. Hold on.
Tell me what you see.
Go ahead.
There's so much that was said in what you've played that, you know, it's been a long time since we watched that. But this thing that he says, looking at the contracts, get ready for the guy, go for it from there.
Yep.
He didn't know about the damn gloves.
Thank you. That's why I said this is a problem, bro. This is a problem. He didn't even know
about the damn gloves. Then he says, when he was asked about, you know, who would you like to see and everything, he said about not calling anybody out. Yep. Let me tell you something about the not calling people out. There was no such thing as calling people out until this present era of fighters. And, you know, they try to say that the sport is made or not made on whether you call someone out. When fighters are good, they look for competition and they want to be able to go out and display their wares before the world and everything, because it is called prize fighting. But prize fighting isn't just the finances of it all. Prize fighting means what you acquire once you've achieved the success. What is that you've killed? If it's the guy who was at the top of the mountain and you have now exceeded him by throwing him off the mountain, now you stand pat at the top, you have earned the prize, the seat, the throne. And see, remember me talking about how words are powerful. These guys do not fool someone like myself with what Drew likes to term word salad. You are out there saying these things, oh, well, we don't call people out or whatever. But everybody calling you out though, bro.
That's right.
So you're ignoring what the consensus is that people want challenge. You're ignoring that your responsibility is, if you're sitting in a particular seat that happens to be near the perch of the top, that someone wants to challenge you for that position. Oh, well, you know, what have you done or whatever. You see, all of that doesn't stand. It holds no merit whatsoever when you haven't challenged yourself. Anyone in this damn chat right now, you could tell me and answer this question. When has Tank Davis ever challenged himself? When has Tank Davis ever gone into a fight where you who support him look at it and say, wow, I don't know, man, this might be a tough match for Tank. I hope he pulls through. You know why you haven't had that? Because you have helped and assisted with him avoiding that. Yep. With your behavior, the things that you write about. That's why he comes across as an abusive husband to you all. He says the things that he says to you. He can tweet something and remove it because no accountability. Just because you tweeted and remove it don't mean it didn't happen, right? And right. You know there are people out there waiting for you to do it so they could capture it and make you look bad. Who in the world walks the path of life looking like an imbecile and a man who has no solid foundation? There is nothing to entrust in that. So what you're saying about yourselves is that you lack the mental faculties to understand what you've attached yourself to. And I termed it earlier as trauma bonding.
Exactly what it is.
You guys are a bunch of goofies.
And
the sooner that someone like this in the sport goes away, the better the sport will be from today. So when you played that, Drew, it was by no mistake that we were able to see, because I know what you were trying to get to, the particular soundbite, but that was gold within itself.
Yeah, it was. It was. And I didn't mean to play that, by the way, but see, God's not a liar. Coach Cal was asking about gloves, which was genuine concern. And I'm like, that's interesting. He don't know about the gloves. And I forgot on his live when he spoke to Marco, he said that he's in charge of that end of the preparation, and he don't know. And he's on a mic, a hot mic, asking about that. Oh man, this is bad. This is bad. But well, this not talk about Haney right here.
When you seen Haney in a real fight where he had to really bite down on something?
I agree with you. I have to ask the question though. That's all. I agree with you.
I'm asking the question though.
Yeah. No,
I'm asking, see, when you asking me a question, so I go back and look at fights. When I look at fights, I sit there, say, damn, that's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's just like Haney and Regis fight. I just don't think Regis don't have the athletic ability to keep up with Haney.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yeah.
But can he catch him? He might, because he had been caught in the fight.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Lomachenko was on him, but didn't know how to put his feet on the gas.
Right.
Because he couldn't. They're not factoring in. Devon was canceling a lot of that shit. And mind you, y'all, this is before the Ryan Garcia fight.
You know, so again.
And he wasn't favored when he went in.
We'll see.
Right. To me, one of the most exciting fights in boxing would be T.O. versus Tank. You agree with that?
Yeah, because T.O., he will fight back. Hey, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And be punishing niggas. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Tank does it. It's just his power is just so powerful. They can't take it.
Mm.
So when I find a guy in there that can take it, but he know.
Mm. Well,
Mhm.
who do you think would match up the best? Would be the best fight for Tank of the other three? You know, T.O., Haney. None of them.
Right now, 'cause I know Tank. I
Mhm.
seen Tank when his back was against the wall and everything. Nobody
When
brought
was
that out
that?
of him yet.
See that?
When was Tank's back ever against the wall?
Never.
When has Tank been knocked to the canvas and had to get up inside of a count and fight back? When was Tank in a fight where he took a rally of shots from the opposing fighter and he had to bite down and grit his teeth and come back and do something? When was Tank down on the scorecards and had to come back and pull a fight out? None of these things exist within that 30-plus fight career that he has.
You know what they talk about though? They talk about hard sparring. That's all they talk about.
And I tell you, if you go back to Allen Iverson when he was talking in that interview that time about practice, we're going to talk about practice? Isn't that what sparring is?
Yep.
So when did that become the profile and highlight of someone that boxes?
Tank got to knock everybody out to
You
win a
don't need
fight.
to have the
You for that.
professional matches.
No, but what I was going to ask you was,
Oh,
let's
here
say
it
he
is.
fights.
Look.
It did show that if he wants to stay away,
He took. Wait, let me
he's
bring
like
it back.
That night for boxing that night.
it was bad. But let me ask you this, because I watched it, and the one
They're talking about Shakur and De Los Santos. So he's talking about. So Marco asked him about Shakur versus Tank. Here it is, right here.
it was like painfully boring, right? We all know that, but it made me think to myself. It did show that if he wants to stay away, he's like a rabbit. Like he could stay away. So
Yeah, but do the fans pay for that?
Listen, y'all.
Oh, but what I was going to ask you was, let's say he fights Tank. Do you see any problem at all being like, if he wants to stay away, like you can't catch him. It's really hard to catch him.
Well, why would I put Tank in a situation like that when we can't do what we do? Because
Shut the fuck up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
What the fuck?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we can stop now. Okay? Stop it. They don't want no smoke with Shakur because he's not going to stand there and allow them to do what they do. And I think it was this live or another live when he was asked about Haney. I'm a fight. I've been meaning to clip this for a while, but I'm going to clip it so I ain't got to look for it no more. But he also was asked about Devon Haney. He said, at what weight, though? Meaning that Devon was too big. And I'm like, why does Cal keep saying this shit? Why?
Because he's not intelligent enough to articulate the proper way to avoid the subject. He says the most foolish things. He sounds like Tank or any of the others. This is why when I talk about the mentorship of these guys and the guardianship of these guys is piss poor, just along with the training, because I'm going to tell you something. I have to really find my show where I talk about the 5-dimensional fighters in my Tuesday tussle. A 5-dimensional fighter don't have to worry about who the opponent is across the ring from him. A 4-dimensional fighter can still get away with avoiding, with not having to avoid, a fighter across the ring from him. But a fighter that's a 1 to 3-dimensional fighter, they have to work extra hard, because whatever they do well, the things that they don't do so well, the other fighter needs to put them in an entrapment of that to keep them docile, to keep them at bay, to keep them from being in the consideration of victory. But see, in order to be able to overcome all of that, you have to be able to make adjustments and fortify yourself with enough of ability to do certain things. If a guy's a mover, you have to work extremely hard on cutting the ring off. If a guy has power, you have to work extremely hard at being elusive, evasive, and being able to not get caught clean. If a guy has speed, you have to know how to close the door on speed, because speed is what's measured over a distance that a subject travels. So if you cut down the distance, speed doesn't have that time to get set. So timing is about defeating speed. Now, if you talk about power, again, I just gave that example. If you're talking about someone that doesn't have power, then if they don't have power, they have to increase accuracy and they have to fortify themselves with volume. You see, these are the principles of boxing. If you don't know these things, sit down and fucking take a lesson. Sit in the seat and be educated by this. This is why I say all the time, and Drew is my buddy and he knows I talk about these things, but you cannot trip me up with talking about the principles of boxing, because I understand what they are.
Correct.
But these coaches, if that's what they want to call themselves, they're out here and they got guys avoiding guys and everything, and it really looks foolish to me. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder should have fought a few years ago when Joshua was really at his best and Deontay was probably at his peak. Yes, it was a threatening fight, but the consensus going in should have been AJ being favored because he was a better tooled fighter than Deontay, who was kind of like more at that time two-dimensional. But Deontay could box, but he had fallen into this thing where he was enjoying just getting people out of there. So it would have been great. It would not have been a fight about their abilities and talents. It would have been about what's inside. We would have seen if AJ could connect on Deontay and drop him, we would have to see Deontay rise and fight back and fight harder. If Deontay drops AJ, we'll have to see, does he have that resolve to get up off the canvas like he did against Klitschko and fight back? That was the unforeseen, unknown, and it would have been great. But they didn't give us that. So it's incomplete, and we would never know what would have happened. And if it happens now, it doesn't matter because we won't be seeing them when they were at their best. But I say these things because people like Ed Hearn, you just saw Coach Cal, and we've seen other people out there. They hold these fighters back from the opportunity to be the best that they could be. And they're messing up the sport. That's one of the elements that Turkey has kind of taken out of their hands with what he has done with the Riyadh season events. Is he perfect? Fuck no, he's not perfect. But you see what happens when you give these guys a chance, because guess what? Even if you have a setback, you could go back to the lab and work on fortifying yourself to become better.
Let me say this, because I gotta bust this move real quick. I gotta go get my car inspected. Let me say this. A lot of people are saying, hey man, how are you gonna feel when Tank beats Jake? I ain't gonna feel no way because I ain't asked for this. All right, and stop asking about people's feelings. I'm a man. Don't worry about how I feel. All right, I love the sport. Don't worry about how I feel. Stop worrying about my feelings. All right, because that's deflection. Because I know how you're gonna feel when Jake gets his hand raised, if he gets his hand raised, or if he hurts Tank. I know how you're gonna feel. And I'm gonna feel great because once Tank leaves, he's gonna take you with him. Anything else outside of coming to my channel and trying to troll with multiple accounts, it's not gonna mean anything. Don't ask me how I feel. How would you feel if Tank knocked out Devon? I feel great because he got in there. This is historical shit. These two young dogs fighting in their prime. And y'all don't understand how many fights we were robbed in real time in the last decades by way of the business. That's what I'm saying. I appreciate, and Turkey Al Sheik's not perfect, but I appreciate the timing when he came along because he got some simple shit done that would have never have gotten done. Do y'all understand that 5 vs. 5 was historic? Those are two different companies with fighters that would have never met under normal circumstances. Y'all don't know that. That was equivalent. Queensberry versus Matchroom is equivalent to the 80s Don King versus Top Rank. Things like that. Under normal circumstances, it would have been impossible. So I'm gonna leave you with this. Think about the bad possibilities that could happen here. And if you really love Tank, you would know where we're coming from. And then remember how all we wanted Tank to do was to prove he was the best against his contemporaries that are in or around his weight class. That Boxing Ego said he wasn't trying to be friends with nobody, but I didn't know that Tank meant not even assisting his fraternity brothers to get paid. Because Jake Paul is getting paid and he's not a real fighter, and he's also paying you. That is ridiculous, man. See, and let me dial it back. Y'all called me a Tank hater. I never hated this kid. I wanted what was best for him. The thing is, he don't want what's best for himself. Gone are the days where a trainer and his team knew, hey man, his contemporaries over there, our fighter not only won't be ready for this guy in the next 12 months, but I don't think he could beat him. So we got to maneuver. We might have to leave the division or drop in weight, but we got to avoid this guy. But see, those conversations was kept out of eye and earshot. Now they just saying any old fucking thing and out loud, and the fans are rolling with it. That's Tank Davis. Hey man, he's openly ducking Shakur. That was his latest duck on Twitter the other day. And then he closed his account. And y'all are cool with that? Y'all can't even say, yo, Tank, you can't fight. Oh, how dare you? You can't even tell Tank to fight Roach that he fought to a draw without him cussing you out. So y'all will never be done with him. I've been done with him. He's giving me more than enough ammunition to hold him accountable, and y'all think I'm hating, but y'all will never say that I lied on the kid. There's no other way to interpret what he's done, especially to the niggas that have unconditional love, and I stress the word niggas. No matter how yellow or good your hair is, you're still a nigga. The motherfucker called you soft. And you said, I'm still a fan. But proceeded to get mad at the people that said, hey, man, look, that's fucked up. Look how he's treating his number one advocates. That's why Stormy said there's like a mental disorder with these guys. That's why I don't fuss with Tank fans, because it's not worth it. Y'all are all just crazy. And with that being said, I'm going to get my day started. Stormy, thank you for coming through. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for helping me hold this down this Saturday, this Simian Saturday. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. And to bring the show full circle, are these men on the left off code for helping Jake Paul prep for Tank? Well, being that Tank has exhibited monkey behavior, no, because he don't see this as a black thing. He don't see it as Jake Paul looking to just walk over another black body and make a statement. He doesn't. Does he? No. Absolutely not, because he's a what?
Monkey.
Right. Bronx on deck. Yo, the General's on, and I think Champ Side coming on. We got some boxing. We got some boxing conversations to listen to, man. I just noticed that the General's on. I just got the notification right now, so I'm heading over there, y'all. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.